What up? What up? It is Matt Baker. Good morning. Good morning to you all. This is Thursday, October 23rd, 2025. We're going to get straight into it. I've got a little bit of a new format for you today. I need to control my media assets here. Turn this little rock and roll off for a second. And we shall go into our deal. Let's see here. What do we got? All righty. Well, today we have a large, huge, amazing, tremendous show for you. We got the top 10 breaking stories right now on X, the ones that your timeline will not let you ignore. No fluff, no headlines. Just let's go in order. The government shutdown hits week 3. Deep state implosion or elite purge? ? No King's protest, orchestrated by Soros networks, push shutdown to oust Trump. And in other news, we have Patrick Burns bombshell $18 million FBI bribe for Hillary control of the deep state. Ex-Pentagon chief confirms U.S. holds ET bodies DNA tested. State Senate disclosure push. Whitney Webb exposes disinfo playbook. Conspiracy theorists label for silencing dissent. Bill Gates Orwellian plot of digital ID grid control quietly for total surveillance. UK grooming gangs. Deep state cover-ups. Industrial scale child rape. Muslim world dominance invasions and elite borders for caliphate takeover. Broadcast leaks, tribunal clips from criminal air to satellite feeds. Mike Benz, live, Brennan charges shutdown chaos, deep state counter strike intel. That's the rundown. Okay, I was attempting to read that off a teleprompter. I think I ran it a little bit fast. I think next time I'll probably run it a wee bit slower. We'll see if I can pull that off. I don't know how people do it. But we'll get back into these stories here. I tried to get everything set up ahead of time, so I'm not just rambling on. But as a result, seeing as I don't have a producer and I'm doing this all by myself, I will be, probably having some technical difficulties as we go. I did post the StreamYard link onto my page. So if anybody wanted to jump on, you might be waiting in the queue for a little bit, depending on who you are. And if you're interested in coming on, you can click the StreamYard link on my X page. And if you know how to use it, it's pretty simple. You just set up a camera, ideally decent sound, maybe decent lighting, a stable camera. Set your camera up and you can come on and we can have a little chat, because I would like some back and forth. I do miss that whole concept of talking with other people. So let us see, shall we? I have these stories lined up, so 1 through 10. I don't know if I'll be able to get through all of them. It might be a little bit much, but I supposedly have basic breakdowns and I have the clips that we can go to. So I'm doing this again all by myself. Most people have like a producer and the clips and the things. So I'm trying to see if I can pull it off all by myself, and I'm sure I'm going to fuck up. So, bear with me. Like I said, sit there before the show and I'm just like, I need to do this and I need to do that. And then at a certain point, you just got to go, fuck it. We're doing it live and head into the storm. And that's what we're going to do today. And I'm going to, try to make this a little bit more professional and, with, commentary clips instead of just kind of flailing through and going. We might do some of that at the end, because I do enjoy that free flow. And I'm not very good at being canned, but I do think there is something to be said for being able to deliver, a monologue, possibly having stories in order to make sure you don't miss anything that's really important, in the news. So I've compiled 10 stories. We'll see if we can get through them all. This again is my first time trying this new theory. I got the intro music, which it's a little gay, but and I had trouble because you got to go between one screen and the other, and it doesn't give you toggles for both on the same screen. So that's kind of annoying. When I want to go to the teleprompter, I don't have a thing to turn down the music. So that's annoying. But in the meantime, we'll work on it. So I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna read some of these stories, and then we'll see how it goes. I have the links to these stories over in my my Grok feed. So hopefully we can do this one at a time. And we'll go ahead and see where we get here, see if this works. So let's see. It should say I don't know why it won't go to the part that I want it to go to. So maybe I have to delete this part and then I'll go down above. You would think it would just do this. So yeah, it's annoying because I got to try and figure this out, and I apologize. I'm probably better off just talking off the cuff, but I really did want to try and do this stories in order deal. So we'll see if I can pull it off here and see what happens. Okay, so let's see what happens. Does it allow me to do it? I don't know. So let's see what happens here. Plus play. Okay. So here we go. I think I may have got it working. We're going to bring up the stories here. We're going to go into this mode here, and then we're going to look at the stories, and then we're going to go and check them out as they go, in theory. So our first story is number one: the government shutdown hits week 3, deep state implosion or elite purge. The federal furlough spikes 121% with 7,244 jobless claims, which is really not a lot. I mean, 7,000 government employees are going to go unemployed. You know what I always think about this is I was just thinking the other day, it's like, oh, the poor government employees, no offense. I mean, some people are government employees, but they do get these fat pensions that we end up paying for the rest of our lives. And, if every once in a while the government shuts down and they don't get a paycheck, I'm just not going to cry about it. And 7,244 jobs. So technically you could blame the Republicans or the Democrats or the American people for electing these people into office. But did anybody care when they put every single human being on planet Earth out of work for years during COVID? No. So this, compared to COVID and shutdowns and lockdowns and all this stuff produced by the government on the people, this is like, I don't know, literally what, a billionth, maybe a billionth of the actual, maybe a 100 millionth, because you figure 7,000, that's there's basically 7 billion people on the earth. So I figure 1,000 less, it's 700,000th of the amount of impact that shutting down the entire planet for COVID did. Anyway, we'll continue on with this. So the highest since 2019's nuclear oversight infrastructure grind to a halt. X threads tied Trump to deliberate controlled burn, draining the swamp funds, exposing foreign cash flows amid National Guard activations. Okay, so now we can theoretically look at this thread here in live time, and we'll look at what they are saying about it. So this is the feed right here based on this story. So this is how we're going to do it. We're going to basically talk about the story, then show it. Most of them are clips, but this graphic, like I say, it's kind of an important story, but to me, this doesn't bother me at all. Like 7,000 government workers are out of work for a few weeks. I mean, who gives a fuck? Not me. But it also turns out that that the Democrats are actually and the No Kings protests, they're actually admitting that they are calling their senators and trying to pressure them to keep this going. Like, they want to keep it going. So they're blaming the Republicans, and all the while they're actually saying they want to keep it going. I think I have that clip in one of these other things. So we're trying to do this solo producer. I produce this basically together, and 2 hours before I came on air this morning as I'm lying in bed and as I'm getting up and getting my stuff together. I'm trying to compile these stories and I'm going through. So there's that. That's story one. We got that going. Let us now look back to where we were. If we can get back into here, hopefully we got this one here. So that was okay. The next one is let's see. I'm going over here now. I know this is a little clunky. I do apologize. I'm hoping eventually I could get like flowy with this, but I think the only way to really practice it is to do it on the fly here. So the next story is the No Kings protest orchestrated by Soros networks to push a shutdown to oust Trump. So they're actually trying to cause this for their color revolution. I mean, notice eventually, I mean, they were originally doing all the standard things, burning the American flag, doing the transgender stuff, the gay flags, this and that. And then with the No Kings, they got smart and they started waving the American flag and talking about the Constitution, which you could say they're stealing our flow. But in a way, I feel like it will, subliminally infect them if they actually start having to refer to the Constitution and the founding fathers and things like that. So I'm happy that they're using our language. At least we're not using their language. They're not forcing us to use, their transgender bullshit language now they're having to use our language, which in a way I think is a victory. So let's just look at that again here. So it's basically push the shutdown to oust Trump. So organizers flood Dem senators with shutdown text via 30403 hotline, fueling the 2,700 city rallies against sovereignty, which the No Kings, I don't know if that's sovereignty. Ex-sleuths link the globalist money trails and call it a color revolution to back deportations and order security. Let's dive into the thread. Anyway, I butchered that. So like I said, I'm better off freewheeling than reading, but I'm working on it here. So let's have a look at this one now and let's see what we get in that deal. So we got this biatch right here. Let's hear what she's got to say.
Shutdown. There are successful lawsuits slowing those firings down, slowing those tactics down, but it's a harsh threat and intimidation tactic, of course, just par the course for President Trump. So in response to this threat and these actions, we should all seek to make clear that ending the shutdown doesn't mean averting layoffs. The Trump administration is going to continue to slash federal jobs as they've been doing, despite the questionable legality for the last 9 months. They've fired and doged, I'm going to use that as a verb, people for 9 months before this. So we have had numerous votes in the Senate on the House passed continuing resolution, which is a bill that would open the government without improving our health care. And in these votes so far, we've lost only a few Democrats. So thus far, we are doing really well and they are holding the line. But things are going to get harder as the shutdown continues. So our outside pressure is essential to keep the Dem caucus together and to provide accountability if they start to waver, if they don't stay tough. Again, they only need 7 and this is over. So we all need to do anything we can and everything we can to ensure we win something from this moment, both on our healthcare and on guardrails against future illegal cuts. So as Ash said, there are things we can do to impact all of this. And we have 2 calls to action. There's a simple thing you can do right now, and there is an easy action for you to sign up to take. First, in the next 24 hours, call your senator's office and leave a message telling them that they should restore health care to millions of people and thanking the Democrats for standing strong on the shutdown so far. To do this, text shutdown to 30403, which is a Working Families Power texting.
Okay, so just to be clear, this is a Democrat operative, and she's encouraging everybody to text shutdown, to keep the shutdown going, to keep the pressure on so that they can get what they want. This is basically the same as everything. It's all just a negotiation tactic. They want to get the food stamp shut off. They want people to freak out. They want to then blame it on Trump and then try to oust him with these color revolutions. So let's finish the clip here. She's kind of rambling on.
After you send the text, WFP will ask you to share your state, and then you will automatically connect with your senator's offices. Again, that is text shutdown to 30403, and this should be on your screen.
So that's
Shutdown.
funny.
There
I
are
thought Owen Schroyer had the best take on it. It was pretty funny. I was watching his show yesterday and he was talking. He's like, I want the longest shutdown ever. I guess we got 10 more days to go for the record shutdown so that we can tell our kids that we shut the government down for the longest period of time of, since record. Anyway, since COVID, at least. I don't know if it was technically shut down then, but most of everybody was at home at least. And basically, the skies are clear and there's a lot less hassle when the government is shut down. It'd be nice if we could just shut 90% of it down and just leave, the bare bones open. Then they could actually like maybe just fix roads and protect the border and that would be about it, So that's that clip. And then now to switch gears, going back into my list here, and we get to the third story. This is actually really interesting here, the Patrick Byrne situation. I was tripping on this one. So Patrick Byrne's bombshell, $18 million FBI bribe to get Hillary under the control of the deep state in 2016. The Overstock CEO video alleged he funneled a foreign bribe to Clinton under the FBI ops for elite leverage. X erupts with Q echoes. Operation Snow Globe exposes how they rigged the game, and now tribunals loom as assets reclaim. So apparently, Patrick Byrne, if you watch this video, I had Grok help me write these descriptions, and I'm not sure if it's the way I'm reading them or whatever, but I'll work on that in the future. Again, we're just going off the cuff here. So the next clip is Patrick Byrne. Interesting story. Patrick Byrne is actually in my book a cool guy. I don't know. He might not be. He might have some weird nefarious background, but I will tell you. I did a speech. It actually had 10 million views here on X. And I might play a clip from it after this. But Patrick Byrne basically helped fund this, what was called Cause Fest. Okay, so Cause Fest was kind of like an American Liberty Awards without the awards, but it had a bunch of us, freedom fighter, anti-COVID, pro-Trump at the time, liberty-minded people. And it had a great cast, and there was music and everything. And so the people that were putting it on were struggling to get the funds at the very last minute. They weren't going to be able to actually pull it off because they actually had to fly people out. They flew me out, gave me a hotel. They flew out, Forgiato Blow and some of these other guys. Nick Natoli, was Nick Natoli doing the Target song. And, Alex Stein was out there, and Owen Schroyer, he came in, over Skype and stuff like that. But I forget all the people that were there, but Patrick Byrne was there. And Patrick Byrne at the very last minute put down $15,000-$20,000 just to cover everybody's flights. So he just totally covered it and saved her ass. The lady that was putting it on. And so it was funny when I was out there in Tennessee. I was actually driving around with Patrick Byrne in the car. And at the time, I didn't even really know who he was, and he seemed totally chill. And when he had a speech that was there that day, and he's just perfectly delivered, awesome, liberty-minded stuff, and talking about taking the country back and all this and that. So apparently he was like doing black ops with the FBI, CIA to get Hillary Clinton to take a bribe that they said they were going to use for, they said they were going to use it for, to take Hillary down. But it later turned out that it was actually just blackmail that was designed for Obama to use to keep her in the quote unquote snow globe so that they could control Hillary as a deep state puppet. And, just after knowing Patrick for a little while and knowing what a good guy he was helping out, I don't think he's making this up. So let's have a look at that Patrick Byrne clip now. And we got it. Check this out here. So there's Patrick Byrne. Let's see. Let me get back this here.
Why they did not, I know what's in the Durham report, and I'm going to say it here. I bribed Hillary Clinton $18 million. I facilitated a bribe for Hillary Clinton on January 14th, 2016, right here in this town. On behalf of the FBI, I They came to me around December 1st, 2015. They told me Hillary Clinton had accepted a bribe from Turkey for $20 million. They told me that I would be working for a group in New York, FBI agents, who had authorization to set Hillary Clinton up in a sting. They asked me to facilitate a bribe for her, an $18 million bribe from another government. The bag man from that other government was, I was to befriend, and I was to get that person 10 minutes alone in a room with Hillary Clinton. I did. On January 14th, 2016, Hillary Clinton was in this town, and she met in a way that was kept off her schedule. She accepted an $18 million bribe. But General Barr knows this. This is the Durham. They know this was what is behind it all. And I'll even tell you, I'm going to drop one more thing. I've been waiting to say this publicly, and this is what really happened. I will tell you, if you hear this and you give 90 seconds, your viewers will understand what's happened in the last 5 years in America. I've been waiting to say this on mainstream TV, and they will not have me back, because once they understood what this was about. I had Hillary Clinton, I caused Hillary Clinton, I facilitated a bribe, and she took a second bribe for $18 million. And I worked with the FBI as I did that. They're deeply involved in this. They came to me 3 days later and told me I had to forget about it and forget that it ever happened. And I said, what are you talking about? And they gave me one excuse. They said, Hillary's going to win, and it's been decided upstairs. Nothing's going to be able to stop that now. So she's going to win, and she's going to send her people over to the FBI and ask who was part of investigating Hillary, and any of us who were part of it are going to be destroyed, and that includes you.
So basically, they used him under the pretenses that it was going to take Hillary down, and he, being a patriot, is like, hell yeah, I'll take this mission. And then he's like, what happened? They're like, no, you got to forget this ever happened. And he's like, well, why? And they're like, oh, well, we're all going to go down when Hillary gets in. When in reality, they were in on it too, because they were getting the information for Obama in the fucking first place under the pretenses that she was going to win, and she was going to be Obama's puppet.
You too, Patrick. And so this mission has been scrubbed from the highest level. And I thought about that, and I said, yes, sir. And I came, but 2 or 3 weeks later, I was back with 3 federal agents this time. 3 federal agents. And I let them know that wasn't sitting, and this is in Salt Lake City, Utah, and that wasn't sitting well with me. And I'd like to know why. We had almost a year before the election. They could have had me and another person in front of a grand jury in a week and gotten her indicted. And they told me, and this is the key to understanding what's happened in America. They told me, this is word for word, Patrick, what's really going on is this. President Obama has his people across the federal bureaucracy at this point, but especially the Department of Justice. Hillary Clinton is going to be president for 8 years, and nothing's going to change that. But think of there being a Bunsen burner within the Department of Justice. That evidence about the 2 bribes you were part of gathering is going to be sitting on the Bunsen burner. And the hand on the Bunsen burner is going to be one of Barack Obama's people. If Hillary's a good girl and defends Obamacare, that flame stays low. If she's a bad girl and thinks for herself, it's going to get turned up high. That way, Barack Obama is going to manage Hillary Clinton for the 8 years she's president, and then she's going to step down, and Michelle's going to run. And Patrick, that's the plan. That came out of the lips of a federal agent. It was confirmed to me this spring. The Durham investigation has that plan was called the Operation Snow Globe. That was Brendan Obama's name for it. Snow Globe, they were trying to get Hillary to step into a snow globe. I'm looking for a prop. A snow globe that anytime they wanted, they could then pick up and shake for 8 years. My bribe was the bait to get her to step into the snow globe. That's all from it. This isn't a theory. I'm the guy in the room. I'm acknowledging I took part in all this, and I thought I was helping them conduct federal law enforcement. It turned out that I was helping them set up Hillary Clinton for a deep state to control her. And that's why, and I came in public a year ago with some pictures that showed me with this Russian redhead, Maria Butina, lovely woman, that said, and so I'm saying this entire thing, this last 5 years has...
Lovely woman. Lovely woman, aka honeypot. Russian redhead, like lovely woman. Okay, aka honeypot. Go on, Patrick, continue.
Been a coup It was from Obama against Hillary, that when Trump won in a fluke, it got morphed into the Russian collusion delusion. And I say that as the guy they had romancing Maria and bribing Hillary Clinton. So I'm about as involved in this as you can get, and I promise you that's exactly what happened. And what we're seeing here is the last act play out. I was the last act play out. And the reason I mentioned that I knew in October 2018 that this was going to happen was because in 2018 I was offered, a federal agent came to tell me, Patrick, you need to understand there are billionaires walking around this world that we made, and we're prepared to do the same for you. You just have to stay calm. You just have to stay quiet through the election. And by that election, I knew he meant 2020 election. So I've known that they were going to hijack this election since October of 2018.
So it's weird that it came out now. I'm not exactly sure whether that video was buried or it just resurfaced, or if, I mean, just judging by the quality of the camera, it apparently is an older clip. And obviously Hillary did not get in. So that was, Obama's, his contingency plan to basically control Hillary. But then I don't know what happened when Trump got in. I guess all of these plans went awry, and then they were just covering their asses and hiding things and burning things and bleach bidding. And that maybe that's what all of these, broken servers and bleach bits and everything are all about, is them basically just covering up, once they realized that Hillary was actually not going to get in, which is crazy that Trump actually pulled that off, because you would think the deep state, with all their control of all these machines, would have been able to pull it off. But people do say that maybe it's just because it was too big to rig. They just weren't expecting that big of a landslide. They have a certain amount of ability to rig elections. They can do 10% sways, but if there's a 20%, tidal wave, they can't deal with it. And then they retooled the next time with the COVID and basically said, well, let's just make an infinite number of ballots. And then, as you've seen, Biden gets 20% more than anybody else has ever gotten in history, and then you see the fraud line. So basically you can tell they basically upped their game on how to rig elections. Now, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with all of these Prop 50 and everything, and everybody's trying to out-rig one another now. And that's going to be a trip. So let's see here. We're going to go back to our stories, and we're back on now. We're down to, let's see, that's past Patrick Byrne. And then I think we're going into Patrick Byrne. Oh, I thought we were on to the aliens, but apparently not yet. So somewhere along here, let's see. Yeah, okay. I thought it was Whitney Webb, but I guess Whitney Webb's story number 5. I'm working on it. So let's check this one out. So story number 4 is ex-Pentagon chief confirms the U.S. holds ET bodies, DNA tested, Senate disclosure push. Okay, so apparently this guy who was one of the what's his name here? You'll see in the clip here. The Pentagon chief, which is named Jay Stratton, reveals that non-human craft and beings in the government vaults, with 56 agencies stonewalling Congress, and ex-UAP circles demand the truth amid false flag fears for, basically Operation Bluebeam, holographic alien attacks. They've been hyping it up. You've got everyone saying, oh, we've seen the aliens, the alien crafts. You've even got, Ashton Forbes out there. He claims it's government technology. He doesn't really talk about aliens, but, it's this otherworldly tech. And basically now you've got the 3-Eye Atlas, which is day by day, they're going, it is a little weird. It's getting weirder. It's getting weirder. It's getting weirder. And the 3-Eye Atlas is weird. I mean, again, it's called 3-Eye, in case you didn't know, because it is the third eye interstellar object that has been noticed coming into our solar system, if you believe that we're not living in a dome. And so they can tell by the trajectory of this thing and by the speed, it's going faster than any object that they've seen. And also it's weird because it has been when we send probes out, we send them to go close to Mars or close to Jupiter, and then they swing off and they go to the other planets. But this thing's kind of acting similar to that. It's not really coming in from just this random angle and hitting and slingshotting out. It's kind of coming along on the ecliptic plane of the solar system. And it's basically it's I think it went around Mars, it might have went around Jupiter, and now it's going around the sun and it's coming back. And this is something I don't know if anybody's heard, and I don't think it was false. You can check it out, look it up. Is that, I know that Christmas, the date of Christmas is not actually the real date that Jesus was born. It's like they tried to figure it out, and that's the one that stuck. And some people say it's because of pagan festivals that they dialed it in, or if you've seen the old Zeitgeist series where they say, all of these things, Osiris and all these different deities throughout time had similar stories. Now, whether it's because of a deeper truth or because of people lifting stories or some Illuminati background, I don't know. But the weird thing is that supposedly the 3i Atlas is going to make it swing around the back of the sun, and it's going to be on its closest position to Earth on Christmas Day. So that's a trip. Now, a lot of people are showing the pictures of the 3i Atlas, and it's like almost like a mini galaxy. I believe those are fake images of another comet that blew apart, it's kind of weird because Grok was originally saying that it was a micro galaxy, which is what it looked like to me. But now it's saying it's of another comet that came through and broke up as it got close to the sun. So it turned into that little fragmented disk. So if it is that, then it's already been seen before, because this was actually from a few years back. Anyway, so holographic alien attacks, Project Bluebeam, Jay Stratton reveals the non-human craft and the beings the government and 56 agencies are stonewalling Congress about. So let's find that clip here. And let's see. And back, we're here. Let's go to clip number 4. This guy looks like Robert De Niro crossed with a Golden Girl. Like if the Golden Girls and Robert De Niro had a baby. Look at this guy. Anyway, no offense. I'm pretty sure maybe that's his hair. Maybe he's just pulling it forward and he's just like doing this comb forward thing. He's trying to look like one of the boy bands now with the lettuce tops. So anyway, we'll listen to this dude and we'll see what he's got to say about. Here we go. Yeah, Jay Stratton says he's seen non-human craft and beings the U.S. government allegedly holds ET bodies confirmed by DNA tests. Now the Senate races to force disclosure from 56 agencies. So let's hear what he's got to say. Again, with this, they keep saying eventually they're going to do this, alien psyop.
Learned that our United States government is in fact in possession of one or more explicitly non-human origin extraterrestrial spacecraft and the bodies of the occupants, which they have now confirmed through biological testing, DNA, that are non-human. So this, for example, Jay Stratton.
On behalf of the U.S. government, I worked as a senior intelligence official on the unidentified aerial phenomenon topic. I have seen with my own eyes non-human craft and non-human beings.
Jay Stratton, who was the head of the Advanced Weapons Special Access Program in the Pentagon, in effect, Lou Elizondo's boss, has now confirmed that he has been in the physical presence of a confirmed non-human origin extraterrestrial spacecraft, and he has actually seen with his own eyes the non-human beings that were occupants. So that's an extraordinary moment. And so we're pressing hard to try to get him to be one of the witnesses on September 9th in front of the House Oversight Committee's task force on disclosure. So that this is all going on right now at this very moment. And the United States Senate is in the process of repassing a 64-page bill, which is set up to direct the president to appoint a 9-person review board and to compel all 6 of our United States military services, all 18 of our intelligence agencies, all 32 of our United States Defense Department agencies who are assumed to be in possession of information pertaining to these UFO craft and to these bodies, these extraterrestrial beings, that this is underway right now. And the Senate is getting set to pass this, ideally by the end of this week.
All right. Well, you heard it there. Alien disclosure is coming. And Robert De Niro Golden Girl is Blanche De Niro is going to be the one to break it. So, take that or whatever what you want. You got I forget what her name is, but one of the hot Trumpians, she was on Joe Rogan talking about how she's I know her name, but it's just skipping me right now. I'm not going to freak out. But yeah, she's like, "Oh, we know the alien craft are here." And was it Alina Habba? I forget. But anyway, she was talking about how we know the alien craft are here, we're storing them. And sometimes I wonder if this is all just like bravada. It's kind of like, landing on the moon during the Cold War. They're basically like, hey, man, don't fuck with us. We've got alien tech. Don't fuck with us. We've been to space. Hey, don't fuck with us. We're talking to the aliens. It's kind of like pretending you have a joker or like a wild card or three aces when you don't. It's like just a giant bluff. Like there's no point in messing with us because we can teleport planes. We have the ability to be anywhere. Like Trump talks, we can control space and time. We control space and time. Real quick, when it comes to controlling space and time, I'm gonna go out on a limb and I'm gonna say there's no going back in time. Okay, you can't go back in time. Because if you do go back in time, let's say you go back in time, you can go back once, maybe, but you're not going to be able to go back and communicate with the future because once you go back in time, you alter the future. So if I'm here and I go back in time and then I'm like, hey, how was it? It's like the minute the me back in time does anything, it's going to alter the future. So I will no longer exist as part of that. Now you could say the basic paradox of then I would never have went back in the first place. But let's say I stay back in time. I can't just like Q. They say it's like communicating with the future. Like, hey, how's it going? Let's do a little more of this. Let's do a little more of that. Every tweak you change completely obliterates the future timeline. You're not going to be able to keep communicating back and forth with the past. So you might be able to go back once, but you're not going to be able to go back and see how it went. And whoever it is that sends the thing back is going to be their timeline is going to be obliterated by sending it back. So it doesn't make any sense, especially if you want to live in the timeline that you're altering. You're like, let's go back and alter the timeline. But then you go back and you alter something like, let's get rid of Hitler or whatever. And then now you no longer exist because you were never born, because rockets were never made, we never pretended to go to the moon, all these different things, The Jews don't have a giant conspiracy now to blame the rest of the world and guilt everybody. So the whole world would be different. You just wouldn't be living in the same world. It's just not possible to go back and change things in the past and not obliterate your own self. That's just not a reality. I don't care what anyone says. I don't believe it's possible. So going back in time is fake. You can go forward in time. That people do that. You can actually, just by traveling close to the speed of light, you can already slow your time down. And in fact, we're going forward in time right now. So that's possible. Going back is not. I don't ever think we're going to see that. That's not going to be a thing. Going back in time is not a thing. So, Blanche has said his piece, and let's get back to our stories. So now that we've done that, we're cruising along. We're going. I don't know if you like this format or not, but yeah, I'm a little clunky. I'm not a teleprompter reader, so to speak. But sometimes it does help to have. You can't always remember all the facts and the name of every single person, so it doesn't hurt to have a little bit of a list here and have a little understanding of what's going on. So let's have a look here at our next story, declassified. Okay, I think the next one is Whitney Webb. Okay, let's talk about Whitney Webb. Great researcher, always on top of stuff. A lot of people, Ian Carroll and other people, basically see her as gospel. She's one of the greatest deep divers out there. I personally have never read any of her books, but I do respect her because I've seen she has a lot of respectable stuff going on. And so in this clip, we're going to be talking Whitney Webb exposes the CIA disinfo playbook, and then the quote unquote conspiracy theorist label to silence dissent traces an elite tactic from the MK Ultra to the Sunstein infiltration ops, merging intel with crime rings like Epstein. X warns of PSYOP overload eroding trust. You think? and paving a way for authoritarian paths. History's pattern repeats for control. So let's have a look at that again. So Whitney Webb, yeah, she's basically reiterating what we already basically know, is that the entire word conspiracy theorist was invented by the CIA during the JFK assassination. I'm sure most people know that. If you don't, I'm just going to just flesh it out again real quick, and then we'll go to the clip. But basically, they invented the conspiracy theorists because just like the Charlie Kirk were like, hey, there was more than one person there. Just like the Crooks thing, hey, there was more than one person. Supposedly, it's been proven. I haven't actually seen the full evidence, but I've heard from insiders that that there is proof that there was other people involved. And so people said, oh, it wasn't, it wasn't the shot from the textbook depository. It was actually from the grassy knoll, or there was two people, because if you look at the magic bullet theory from the JFK, they said, well, it came in here and it went sideways and it hit there. And people said, there's just no way that happened. So there must have been more than one bullet. So they said, well, that means that there had to be two people conspiring. And then that became the name of the conspiracy theory. And so they would say, oh, the conspiracy. It was just like a conspiracy theory. And then it became conspiracy theorists would talk about it. And then it became the larger conspiracy theories that now anything that basically anybody puts two and two together, that this might be related to that, that's a conspiracy theory. And I think it's funny when people say, do you believe in conspiracy theories? Because I personally believe, like, literally everything is a conspiracy, like everything. Like back when I used to sell weed, it was illegal to sell weed. So if I called someone on the phone and say, hey, do you want to grab that bag of weed? And they came over and they grabbed that bag of weed. That was a conspiracy to sell marijuana. Okay. I'm just kidding. I never did that. But that was just a joke. But let's say a guy pays off a building inspector. He knows the guy in the building inspector. He's like, hey, we're going to need to get this thing passed. We got these deadlines going. He throws the guy a little bit of money to get the permits. That's a conspiracy. You get, Patrick Byrne. He's working with the CIA or the FBI to get Hillary Clinton to take a bribe. That's a conspiracy. They are conspiring to get her to do this thing. And so all of these things, even in non-illegal sense, people are conspiring. People are conspiring in the government. Like if we don't get this, we're going to keep the government shut down. That lady is conspiring with her followers at the No Kings protest. You guys get together and we are going to send these bulk texts in. That is a conspiracy. They are conspiring to shut the government down. So everything is a fucking conspiracy. Like when it's Christmas and your wife comes home and she's got the presents for the kids and you hide him under the bed. You're like, don't tell the kids it's under the bed. You are conspiring to stop the kids from knowing about the Christmas present. That's a conspiracy. When the kid breaks, the cookie jar and tells his sister, like, just say the cat jumped on the counter and knocked the cookie jar off the table. That's a conspiracy. Okay. Everything, anytime two humans get together, by virtue of having language, we're practically conspiring at all times. So not only that, they actually added the word tinfoil hat. So it was tinfoil hat conspiracy was actually added to it. Thus the idea of the tinfoil hat, which, not to go off on a giant jag, but the tinfoil hat, I mean, it makes you want a tinfoil hat, because everything they're like, oh, what are you, a vaccine denier? Oh, what are you, anti-Semite? Oh, what do you believe this? Or what do you believe that? It's like, so if they're saying, oh, what's next? You're going to get a tinfoil hat? I'm like, right, maybe I need one, like maybe this is a real thing. Maybe I need to protect my brainwaves from either being zapped or just, EMFs, which is now becoming a thing that people are actually realizing. And then with the COVID vaccines and the self-assembling nanobots that could be controlled by the RFIDs and all this stuff, maybe you do need a tinfoil hat. Anyway, so she goes on in this clip to basically break down what we already know, is that the conspiracy theorist label was to basically to dissent. And it was done, I guess, under the auspices of the MK Ultra folks, who were all into mind control and psyops. And they're like, this is going to work great because we're just going to marginalize anybody who ever puts two and two together. Basically, like, hey, have you noticed the skies are gray? And every time the skies are gray, these planes go over with the thing. Okay, that's a conspiracy theory. Hey, have you noticed all these gay kids? There's all these gay kids, and there's all these schools teaching gay stuff. Oh my God, here we go again, another conspiracy. Hey, did you know the world banks are controlling everything and charges interest for money that isn't even a thing? And they got rid of everybody during that was gonna fight against it during the Titanic. Oh, another conspiracy theory. Wow, you guys are crazy. So stay conspiratorial and stay skeptical, my friends. And I'm skeptical even of the skeptics. Like I say, I'm not saying that Candace Owens is in on it, but I'm skeptical. And you'll see here, kind of, let's watch the clip. So let's watch Whitney Webb and see what she's got to say here. Here we go.
Point for me, it's well, I think at this point for me, it's intuition, and also the fact that a lot of my work is historical. So I look back many decades, and so if I well, I think at this point for me, it's intuition, and also the fact that a lot of my work is historical. So I look back many decades, and so if I get inkling of something suspect happening now, and the parties involved happen to be directly connected to people that I know engaged in wrongdoing and crime in the past, then I tend to be more inclined, because there are patterns, and a lot of these people repeat the same tactics and the same patterns of criminality over and over again. But I think also, there was a deliberate effort to try and undermine the reporting on real conspiracies by muddying the waters and flooding it with crap.
Yeah, it was a CIA operative, wasn't it? It was that said discredit people by calling them conspiracy theorists.
After the Kennedy assassination, yes. And so, but in addition to that, more recently, Samantha Power's husband, Cass Sunstein, wrote a bizarre paper. I forget exactly when. I think it was in the Obama era.
It was
and
2008.
I forget exactly what the quote is.
It said, even if it turns out to be true, discredit. It was your first go was to call it a conspiracy theory. Even if it turns out later to be true, it doesn't matter. Discredit, discredit, discredit.
Yes, but in addition to that, there was something about infiltrating conspiracy movements in order to push the needle to a narrative that was more favorable to the powers that be. So he, as one example, he said a lot of the conspiracy movement in the U.S. at that time did not trust the government. So how?
You think? Yeah. So let's look at that. So obviously, the people who are trying to run shit have realized the conspiracy movement is huge. And so obviously being, PSYOP, psychological operations, mind control commanders, it's a pretty old playbook is to lead the opposition. So I'm not accusing, I'm actually going to watch maybe we can watch some of the clips together at the end about Candace Owens. I'm a little concerned that Candace Owens is basically sucking the entire story of Charlie Kirk and becoming the Mother Mary, the infallible, truth teller, because she's been fed these stories that end up becoming true, with the texts. The group texts, she wasn't part of the group text. The group text came from inside the very agency that she's accusing of being the ones creating the PSYOP and covering up the Charlie Kirk, and possibly being the ones who are getting rid of Charlie Kirk in the first place, are now feeding her the information of like, here's the text threads, here's who was involved, and getting it juicy enough and spicy enough that everybody is like, no way, no way, no way. And then it comes out day after day, she's proven right. She's proven right. She's proven right. And then at the very end, just like Kash Patel and Bongino says, oh, well, actually there was no, Epstein killed himself because he's the number one guy. He's fighting for it. He's going to release the information, and he gets it. Get me in there, coach, get me in there. And once he gets in there, he's like, hey, there's nothing to see here. Epstein killed himself. She's like, I'm going to get to the bottom of it. I'm going to get to the bottom of it. No one's going to stop me. Yeah, he got shot in the front. He got hit in the thing. It stopped in the thing. And I know it for a fact. Now, if you've seen me on these podcasts already, you're going to know that I personally think it is impossible for her to know. I don't think, I fucking know. The only thing I know is she doesn't know for a fact. She knows for a fact that it stopped in his neck. How? Because the examiner said so. I mean, was she there? Did she put her finger in? Did she pull it out? And not only that, the crime scene was already destroyed because they took Charlie. Not that they shouldn't have tried to rush him to the hospital, but they took him. And the people that put him in the car are the people that people are claiming are the ones that are cleaning and sanitizing the crime scene. The ones that didn't pull their guns in a live fire situation. The ones that didn't try to stop the bleeding because there's no blood on their hands. And these are the people that are being accused of doing the cover up. And then now they're in the car with him and they could plant evidence, do anything they want. And they bring it to their, medical examiner who doesn't do a proper exam, who doesn't do a proper autopsy. And then now somehow or another, she knows for a fact that this is the truth, which that right there, the minute she said that, I was like, this is suspect. Like, how could you say that? Be like, I've got on really good information that there's going to be a lot of evidence comes out that really proves this. And it's, it's all there. They're just hiding the fact. But no, she's just like, I just know for a fact. It's like all after being the number one questioner, just like Bongino. Oh yeah, there's nothing. He killed himself. Yeah. I've seen the whole file. Anyway, I've said this before and I'll say it again. And there that is. So where were we? She's now saying that basically they love to do what's either called limited hangout or controlled opposition. So they realize that something's going to be a problem. So they send somebody in to be the leader of who's going to expose this truth. And they suck all the oxygen out of the room. They become the center of the investigation. And then at the very end, they give you the poison pill, which is the piece of information that they wanted you to believe all along. So they lead you along with all the little breadcrumbs and all the little trails to get everybody sucked into the room where at the very end, they reveal the bullshit story that they want you to eat whole. So it's just like fishing for conspiracy theorists, And so, of course, they're going to do that. Of course, they're going to have people out there doing that. I mean, if they weren't, they're certainly not worthy of being our central intelligence agency. I mean, if you're going to even try to compete with Mossad or these other, KGB, at a certain point, you have to engage in these type of levels of things. Now, do you need to kill people like Charlie Kirk, or do you need to pretend you're killing people like Charlie Kirk to whip the country up into a frenzy to cause people to want Palantir and have everything, to take the rights of so-called transgender people away because they're all Clan Tifa, Tran Tifa, or Grand Tifa, or whoever they are, and we got to kick their doors out with masks on because the due process is out the window because this is too big, just like they did with 9/11. Anyway, so she's basically saying what we all know, but Whitney Webb, kind of a big thing here. She's on an interview with Glenn Beck. Let's just rewind it a wee bit and get back into it.
To the powers that be. So he, as one example, he said a lot of conspiracy, the conspiracy movement in the US at that time did not trust the government. So how do we make infiltrate conspiracy movements to make them trust the government? And I would argue that something like QAnon likely was downwind of that.
Wow. I never thought of that.
But it's very
that sounds suspect. Wow, I never thought of that. Really, Glenn? Are you in on it? I mean, what do you mean you never thought of it? What are we paying you for, Glenn? Oh my God, never thought of it. Q could possibly be a psyop. Oh no, don't tell me.
Possible that continues now. I would argue it does, especially, they know that a lot of this information about past conspiracies or even current ones, can't always be put back in the bottle. But if you muddy the waters, you flood the zone, to use one of their terms, with things that are dubious, it becomes very hard for people to sift through the content. And then we're left doing what Eric Schmidt and Henry Kissinger proposed, relying on AI to sift through all of that for us, to tell us the right answer. So again, critical thinking, very important. But I think, because trust is at an all-time low, it just depends on the person. I mean, obviously there's a lot of people that, are terminally online and sort of drift into places where they might think things are true that
Yeah.
you know, what certain people would definitely not agree with. But again, I think it just comes down to individual discernment and critical thinking, which are qualities that are not taught to people anymore in schools. And you know, it starts with parents teaching that type of discernment. And for me personally, you know, I think history adds a lot of the necessary context to having that ability to discern. And so I would, you know, urge people to look at, you know, what these particular networks have done decade over decade. You know, what the reason my book is so long and is in 2 volumes is because you know, I thought that the repeated patterns by the repeated individuals that are all connected together would show that obviously there is something wrong here. Maybe we won't get an admission, you know, from Bill Gates and writing about his Epstein relationship, or, you know, from intelligence agencies that they had connections to Jeffrey Epstein and affidavit. It's very unlikely we'll get those documents. So what can we look at in you know, the public record that's publicly available? And obviously, I think, you know, my book shows that there's various instances, the same individuals repeating the same tactics over and over again, using a lot of the same institutions to do so, and how, you know, it just stacks so much that it becomes, to me, quite obvious that something is very wrong with that particular network. And when you have so many instances of financial crime, arms trafficking, sex trafficking concentrated with in such a small group of people, many of whom have ties to the organized crime gangs from, you know, America's not so distant past, you know, to me, it looks like that a lot of those people rebranded. And basically the main thesis of my book is that those organized crime interests got in bed with our intelligence agencies. And some of those organized crime figures rebranded as philanthropists or other things. But ultimately.
Yeah. Philanthropy. So that's the biggest psyop of all time. 99.9% of all of these so-called philanthropists, like Bill Gates is saving children in Africa. No, he's injecting them with polio. You know, Al Capone is giving out turkeys to the children. It's like, no, he's just trying to make sure his neighbors don't narc him out. Pablo Escobar is building basketball cards. It's basically so he can become a hero, so he can do business. And Elon Musk is, you know, helping people, the blind to see. That's so that he can get FDA approval for the Neuralink. Okay. Why does he have free speech on the platform? Because in his own words, information is like the new gold, like it's more valuable than gold. So if information is more valuable than gold, then doesn't that mean that rare information is worth even more than gold? Like, everyday average BS, like COVID vaccines are safe and effective. That's everywhere. That's information that any AI can scrub off any platform, anywhere, all day long. No problem. But if you want like hidden stories about World War II, or if you want, you know, Hitler speeches in English, or if you want, you know, what the real deal stories are with the COVID vaccine, or what's happening with ivermectin, the real stories and real truth, whether they're even real or not, rare information is going to be worth more than regular BS, normal whack information. So this very rare information that we're spreading because of the freedom of speech, not freedom of reach here on X. And then also people like Palantir are using it so they can build a proper profile on you so that they can get a lavender drone to kill you if shit ever pops off. Because if you're not allowed to say things on platforms, then they can't give you enough rope to hang yourself. So basically they're like, go on, say whatever you want. And then they're like, okay, check. And then one of these days they've got that profile on you. Now, does that mean I'm going to stop saying what I believe? No. Is it hyper dangerous? Yes. But, you know, you're in a catch-22. We have like maybe this tiny window if we really yell and scream and get everything out there before, you know, a full-on social credit score kicks in. Then, you know, maybe we can get enough truth out there to enough people that when they finally try to click in the full on, you know, technotronic police state, that we might be able to have enough people to push back against it. Because in the grand scheme of things, You know, the CIA said when the American people no longer have any idea what's real and what's not, then our job is done. And I think we're really fucking close to that, because there's so many psyops, so many different versions. When you do a divide and conquer, you're dividing people to fight against each other. That's one form of divide and conquer. But there's also an ideological divide and conquer, which I think I may be one of the first people to really pinpoint. Let's say you have a group of people that know the Charlie Kirk assassination is the true story is wrong. That's good. But instead of having necessarily these groups of people fighting with each other, you just weaken that ability of people to say, we don't believe this, by shrinking it down into, there's people, you know, like maybe believe that he got shot from underneath. There's people that believe he got shot from behind. There's people that believe he wasn't shot at all. There are people who believe he's still alive. There's people that believe it was a squib. There's people that believe it was an exploding mic. And so each one of these little groups and camps can't even agree with each other. So ideologically, they have been divided and conquered to where the monolithic, this is the story. There's half of the retards on planet Earth believe this is the story. And then the people that don't believe it, which are the other half, are now shattered into a trillion people because there's only one official story. Whereas the conspiracy theory gets broken into a trillion fragments. So anybody arguing against it is continually arguing that we can't get together and agree on an alternate narrative. So if we could actually sit around and have like a full-on debate and possibly like our own little tribunal and get to the bottom of like to where we could all kind of maybe agree what we think is the reality without one single person like Candace Owens being the Pied Piper, telling us what the truth is by leading us again into the conspiracy theory, into the information that has been fed by TPUSA to her directly so that she can always be proven right as the dominoes fall. And then the last domino is it's nothing. Epstein killed himself. So anyway, there's that. Whitney Webb, be interesting to read her book. Go ahead, pick it up. I'm not sponsored by it or anything. It's just one of the stories that came up today. And so now we are moving right along, and let's go to our next story. Let's see. Bill Gates, Orwellian plot. What do you know? Bill Gates has an Orwellian plot. Who would have thought? Let's see. Okay, so Bill Gates, Orwellian plot. Digital ID grid rolls out quietly for total surveillance. The Daily Mail flags Gates push for brain-linked tech and microchips in vaccines, tying to Palantir's Fed expansion. Ex-health warriors connect the dots to 5G neuroweapons. Elites biodigital convergence, brainwashes via food and towers. Okay, so I got to tell you guys, I'm going to tell you this. I was trying to get the video. I was on with Maha Mike. He's on Mike Lindell TV. Try and support Mike Lindell TV. I don't make any money off of it, but Mike Lindell is getting the Alex Jones treatment now, and they're trying to sue him into oblivion, and he's getting a default judgment, which means that they're not even going to give him a jury trial. They're just like, you're guilty. Let's just ask the people how much you owe. And then they fuck with the evidence to where you can't bring in your own evidence. They give you gag orders so you can't speak, and then they basically paint you however they want. So I was on with Maha Mike, who's on Mike Lindell's network, and I was supposed to be on talking about organoids. Organoids being those tiny little brains that I've made videos about and how they actually have electrodes in them, and they're using them right now in a real life. You can actually go online and look up Final Spark, and you can go on and you can see that you can actually rent time on a tiny little humanoid brain and do calculations using these brain computer chip interfaces. It's a real thing right now. You can buy time. Final Spark, look it up. Little brains have eyeballs on them. They can actually see light. They live in jars. And so if you can, apparently these things have use a million times less electricity to do the same computation as AI chips do. Okay. And one of the biggest problems with AI chips is all of this AI is expansion is outstripping the ability for us to actually power it. We don't have enough electricity with all of the electronic cars and zero new plants. The AI is needing more and more electricity like this, and we're getting zero electricity back into the grid, and the grid is sucking more and more. So anyway, if they could shrink the amount of power usage down 1,000,000 times, you could have an infinite expansion of AI. Only problem is you have to use these little brain chips. So a tiny little brain chip, I'll just go to full screen to explain this real quick. So a tiny little brain chip, this big, tiny little blob of human brain cells, they're able to do these calculations on by attaching electrodes to a microchip and feeding it stimulus. They actually train these things using dopamine. That's how they give it positive and negative feedback. It's like dopamine. So these little blobs even respond to dopamine. They're like, woohoo, dopamine, woohoo, dopamine. So we're actually like these big blobs getting controlled by the AI through dopamine. Now, if you're getting this kind of success, these little brain organoids only last about a month because they don't have a vascular system. They don't have hearts. They don't have blood to pump. So they have to keep them in these dishes and shake them around to keep them oxygenated. Eventually they die. But if you have a brain chip into a human brain and you're thinking I'm going to have all these extra abilities, it's a two-way street. The brain communicates back to it. So you can actually have these brain chips actually harvesting the power of the human brain. And you'll probably have to sign a waiver. You do realize it's a two-way communication device, and we may need some of these for our, for our studies. This call has been recorded for, quality assurance. Like this interaction is being recorded. And so it can ask your brain to run calculations and send it back to its computer. This is totally plausible, and it would be probably amazing if it wasn't so nightmarish. So I was supposed to be on talking about organoids, but because my wife needs a kidney transplant, have been doing a workup for kidney donation. And it's a big ordeal. And they wanted to give me this CT scan, but I didn't want to do it because there was radiation involved. And I read about it. It's like radiation can hurt your kidney. So I'll only have one kidney left, and then that can be hurt. And also I have a chance of brain cancer and all these cancers. So I'm just like, I don't want to do that. But then they tricked me because they basically said, oh, we'll do an MRI scan. And I was like, I don't want to do any contrast. And at the very last minute, they basically tricked me into like, oh, well, we won't really need to do it, only if we need to, And they basically had this IV. And then at the last minute, they're just pumping this IV. It turns out this stuff in the contrast of the MRI is called gadolinium. Look it up, gadolinium toxicity. So you want to talk about all these, being connected to freaking computers and this and that, which I don't go full on into the 5G towers or controlling our minds. I think that's a little bit much, but I still feel like I'm me. And so the gadolinium is a metal, and once they put it into your body, it never leaves your body. Apparently your kidneys are supposed to process it out like 90%, 95%, but the rest of that, like a sizable amount of metal, maintains in your brain for the rest of your life. And I've been having headaches ever since. Like I never have headaches. And I would just say, if you can avoid this gadolinium, please, please, please do it. Because I've avoided being injected by anything because of the COVID situation, ever since COVID and prior to COVID. No vaccines, no nothing. My dog isn't even vaccinated. But because my wife's life is on the line, I did, basically submit to this thing, not knowing, they did no informed consent. They didn't tell me, by the way, this metal is going to be in your brain for the rest of your life. And they say barely anybody gets any side effects from it, but I think that's not true. I think the fact is, if they told people what the side effects were and told them what was happening to them, most people would come out of this thing, or a lot of people would come out and be like, whoa, I'm feeling these effects. So if you've ever had an MRI, or if you're going to get an MRI, please try to avoid getting this gadolinium in your brain. So now we're going to get into the brain microchip interface here. I just had to give you that warning because I do want to make a whole piece on it. I was going to repost the clip, but Maha Mike hasn't sent me my segment on this gadolinium. I'm going to do a whole thing about gadolinium, and you're going to hear me say gadolinium, don't take it. Metal. Do you want metal in your brain for the rest of your life? I don't. It's too late. Some people get multiple MRIs, and they then MRI them without contrast, what they call it, which is to make the areas light up. And their brains are lit up from just the amount of gadolinium that's in their fucking brain forever. Okay. And it's hyper toxic. And if you ever do want to have to do it, I mean, there might be a time when you have to do it because there are certain, like brain hemorrhages and stuff like that. They need to see the blood flow through the brain. You might have to do it, but if you don't have to do it, don't do it, man. I regret it. I've had headaches every day since, man, and I never get headaches. It's fucking bullshit. I might sue their asses. So anyway, a little aside about gadolinium toxicity. Look it up. So let's go into Bill Gates here. Let's see what Bill Gates has got to say. So, yeah, Bill Gates, Orwellian. Yeah, the digital ID controls and quietly for total surveillance. Anyway, I think I've read this over the brain link tech, microchips, and vaccines. Okay, so let's see what this clip is here, and let's get to this clip for Bill Gates, and we'll bring him up here, and we'll play the clip. Oh. Okay, Bill Gates' dark plot that'll see the world descent into an Orwellian nightmare, and it's already being quietly rolled out. That's nice. I thought it was a video clip. I guess I messed up on this one. Anyway, I guess we'll move on from that. You guys can look into that yourselves. Bill Gates quietly rolling out. Who knew Bill Gates was quietly rolling out an Orwellian tech? Well, he's already, like, how is it that we've allowed this motherfucker to survive, dude? This guy has legally and lawfully committed fucking crimes against humanity over and over and over again. He's not allowed in India because so many people have polio from his fucking polio vaccine, so-called polio vaccine, which is spreading polio. The number one cause on planet Earth of polio now is Bill Gates' vaccine. You can look that up. And so everything this motherfucker does, and now he's got the every apple you get, every fucking lime or lemon or citrus has the wax sheathing on the outside is made of this synthetic bullshit from fucking, I think it's insect chitin, which is highly toxic to humans, and other bullshit that he's got in his proprietary soup that he wants on every single fruit, including organic fruits. Now they got a loophole. It paid that off because of his philanthropy. I just want to help people eat, well, I don't want their fruits to go bad. Yeah, Bill Gates cares. All while he wants to lower the world population. Lower the world population with my vaccine. Bill Gates, fuck you, you fucking piece of shit. Why is this guy not on trial for crimes against humanity? Fuck! Human beings, man. That's the thing with Whitney Webb. We find out all this shit. We know all this shit. We know Fauci's guilty. We know Bill Gates is guilty. And we just sit back and fucking take it. When are we going to see some fucking action? Fuck! They muddy the water. They muddy the water with all these different things. And then anytime we get to a point, it's some new story. So don't forget, during the entire fiasco with Charlie Kirk, when they're shutting down, when everybody in the world is completely locked to their screens, COVID level, like including myself, like trying to each angle, watching Charlie get killed 1 million times in a row, going to Charlie Kirk's funeral, interviewing the people, watching fucking Ryan Maddow every day with the new thing, blowing it wide open. And then I'm on there, Google Earth, trying to prove and disprove different theories, getting information. While that all went down, they classified the Epstein files. While that all went down, they made anti-Semitism laws. While that all went down, everybody flew to Israel. I mean, dude, whenever they want, it's like, oh, alien invasion. Anytime the conspiracy theories are getting too hyped on something, just like, release the clones. And they're just like, release some UAP bullshit and have everybody talk about that. Or like, oh, we're cracking down on the vaccine again. And they wave the little mice fucking, the little laser pointer, and the cat's like, and we're fucking lost while they're fucking running away with everything. We've proven them guilty 57 times from Sunday, and we're still sitting here. And then they'd bring out the next psyop. It's psyop upon psyop upon psyop upon psyop. It's just over and over and over and over and over again. The same fucking bullshit. And we still sit here and we're waiting for Trump to save us or Q to save us. It's like, is it going to happen? Are we ever going to see some fucking justice? I want to know. So let's go to the next story. Grooming gangs. Who likes grooming gangs? Who likes grooming gangs? Tommy Robinson. Some people say he's an Israeli plant because he shills for them. Apparently, there's some funny video. I missed it the other day of him getting basically in a struggle session where they're like, he's in Israel trying to tell him how much he loves them. And they're just like, well, you're bad. And you're a white supremacist and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, dude, I'm like your number one fucking fan, mate. Tommy Robinson. I went to jail for you bastards. And instead they've got him rolled up. And then even when he goes to their country, they all have to apologize for receiving Tommy Robinson. But Tommy Robinson has done some great work. Like I said, you can be against Jews and Muslims at the same time. I'm not against them. I just don't want to deal with their bullshit. I don't want Muslims taking over all of England. I don't want to have to hear the call of prayer in Dublin. Okay. And I don't want to have the government controlled by Israel either, or Qatar for that matter. Can we just outlaw all of it? Can we just outlaw all of this external government control? Can we outlaw all money coming into politicians? Can we fund our fucking campaigns by something else than in corporations and foreign governments? I hate the whole government control thing, but I've been saying for a long time, why can't we have local little situations where if you get, let's say 1,000 signatures, let's say when you're having the governor race of California, you get 1,000 signatures in Ocean Beach, California, where I live, then you get to go to a debate stage in Ocean Beach with all the other people that got 1,000. And you get, let's say a stipend of, $10,000 for some local advertisement and a mention on some of the local news channels. Okay. Then you go, they televise the debate. Afterwards, everybody votes on who was the best in that one. Then it goes to, San Diego County. Then it goes to Southern California. Then it goes to, and as you go up in this round robin thing, you get, okay, now whoever wins that round gets $50 million for their campaign. And then the people, or $1,000 for their campaign. Then when you go to Southern California, it's $1 million, $2 million, and no outside money at all. If you can't fund your campaign from within the money, any outside money would be completely violated. And so you would have to win support from each group, and then finally go to the California, standoff where you would vote, where you would battle for governor. And at that point, I don't know how many million you would need. Let's say 20 million per candidate, maybe the top 5 candidates get $20 million. That's it. They get a certain amount of time on each local TV and that's it. And then the rest of the shit, they have to deal with themselves and no money, none, zero from anyone other than that, except for maybe like local donations. Maybe you would allow like individual donations of $5, $10 or something like that. We can't have these millions of dollars like Monsanto gives $50 trillion. Israel gives $1 billion. Qatar does. And then in the end, all of our politicians are just fucking slaves and bitches to whoever is paying for them. Like fucking Hillary Clinton. She was ready to get that $18 million from Patrick Byrne. You think that's her first rodeo? Apparently they already caught her getting one from someone else. That's why they wanted to catch her on tape. Which means this is just another day for her. She wasn't even sweating. She's like, oh, 18 million? Yeah, fuck yeah, I'll be your Huckleberry. What do you want done? And that's what we're dealing with. These people don't work for us. These people are our enemies. Fuck them. Get the money out of politics. Lock, stock, and barrel. All money out of politics now. Okay. So back to the grooming gangs. So the UK grooming gangs inquiry fails. Deep State covers industrial scale child rape, new documents and MPs. Police ignored intoxicated girls with Pakistani men. Official probe hides the truth, not seeking it. X outrage links to global trafficking, same as elite fueling U.S. border chaos. And the USAID dry ritual sales. I'm not sure what dry ritual sales. I don't want to know what a wet ritual sales is. I didn't actually look that one up, and I'm not sure what that means. But basically, USAID is doing the same bullshit, the global trafficking. They're using the non-government organizations, which are paid for by the government, to infiltrate and to invade your country, to dilute your bloodline, to cause a divide and conquer, to make the people hate one another, to make them fight in the streets over who's playing what prayer over what fucking speaker at what point in time, to see who can bend over in the traffic and shut down traffic because it's a call to prayer, to see if the Israelis can control your bank, to see if India can come in and take over all of your technology, to see if China can come in and fucking take over all of your farms. Okay. And so it's fucking bullshit. These people, non-government organization, that is a lie. It's the same thing as when you have what are they called? Contractor. You gotta love the word contractor. See, I'm a contractor. I build you shit. See, contractors also include people. Don't kill me. You know, they go to Afghanistan and they hire a contractor to go kill people, because then it's not the chain of command doesn't go all the way to the top. Like, what did our army do? Who do they kill? Who do they bump off? It's like, no, you just pay this guy. He's a contractor. If he fucks up or he gets caught, it's like, he's a wild card. He got a little out of control. We're disciplining him. We're not going to use them anymore. BlackRock just hires another person and they go out and do more contracting. So it's the same thing. The government is running this shit, but they're using proxies to claim that they're not involved, to claim that they don't that they're not responsible when a town gets nuked or responsible when 1 trillion people invade your country. It's like, oopsie, another NGO got a little out of control. Oopsie daisy. And it's all controlled by USAID. And apparently there's like new loopholes. They found all these new loopholes. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's basically just a mafia tactic. They're going to keep the same bullshit going, but they're going to be funneling the money through their guys now. So it's not like all these programs are going to stop. They're just going to have their mafia boss in control of it. Anyway, so let's see that clip. I didn't see this clip yet. We'll check it out. The Tommy Robinson and grooming gangs inquiry fails. Deep state. Let's see. Here we go. Let's look at this. Okay, so there's a video. This one has a video clip. I like the video clips. Sweet. So let's see here.
Individual family stories. One of the very first was from a grandfather who rang from Rotherham. Who wanted to talk about his granddaughter. 1 month after her 13th birthday, she'd gone to school and then gone missing, and the school had rung her mum, who'd immediately rung the police, who'd said, "Don't worry, love, she'll turn up as soon as she gets hungry." She didn't turn up that afternoon, that evening, and at 2:30 in the morning, the next morning, a woman on the other side of Rotherham had picked up the phone and dialed 999 because she'd heard a young girl screaming in the house next door. Police had gone round to the house. They found this 13-year-old girl with another young girl. She was almost completely naked. She was blind drunk, and she was with 7 adult Pakistani men. She was drunk and leery.
That's cultural, it's just cultural awareness.
South Yorkshire Police arrested the 13-year-old girl for being drunk and disorderly. They took her back to the station, put her in the cells, eventually charged her, and she was convicted. They didn't even question the men as to why they were in a house with a 13-year-old girl who was nearly naked.
Okay, so there's a girl in a house with a group of Muslim men of age, and she's drunk, and they arrest the girl for being drunk and put her in a cell and don't ask these guys anything, because this is the diversity that we've all been told is so wonderful. Okay, not all Muslims, not all Jews. I'm telling you, we don't need Semites anywhere. We don't need them controlling our government, and we don't need them taking over our countries and building mosques all over the place. You got a couple of mosques here and there, okay, but it's part of their whole deal to move in and just, they act all nice, and they have 57 trillion kids. And then what they do is they actually have now made it to, they used to not involve themselves with politics. But see, this is the divide and conquer. Western European white people have been divided, and I call shattered and conquered. Shattered because divide implies there's two sides. Shattered, every single division is split and split and split. You got Democrats that like invasions, don't like them. You got Democrats that want communism, that don't. You got Republicans that want Israel, you got ones that don't. You got people on the right wing that want some healthcare, don't want healthcare. You got people on the right wing want to shut down the Fed, don't want to shut down the Fed. And so they have every single thing, and every single issue is shattered down into tiny little groups. Meanwhile, the Muslims, once they get even a certain, like even 10% in a city or a town, they've now made it there. They used to not be involved in politics because they thought it was haram, meaning bad. And now they've decided it's actually part of their jihad. And so they pick a candidate and they all vote for this person. So imagine if all of 10% vote for one person. And then in a town, you've got maybe 40% of people of the rest of the town maybe show up to vote, if that. And then you got 4 or 5 different candidates. Everyone's voting for this guy, that guy, the other guy, the other guy. They've got their one Muslim guy. Everyone votes for him. He gets in. That's why if you look in England and Ireland and all these places, in Scotland, it's like every leader in every town, every mayor, every person, they're all Muslims or Hindus. Sometimes they do it in those areas too, because there's no sense of community and no sense of like, hey, we got to stick together and vote on this particular thing, because they actually, you say what you will about them, they at least have standards. They're like, we want Sharia law. We want our guy in, and we're going to put aside all of our other fucking differences, and we're going to vote for fucking Ahmed. Okay. And so we are not going to win anything if we keep allowing this to go on further and further and further. No offense to them. You know, there's plenty of Muslims out there that I like, but they do not and should not be controlling England or Ireland. Ireland fought the English army. England was able to go around the planet and conquer entire continents. England was capable of conquering the entire continent of Australia, the entire continent of India, practically the entire continent of Africa. America, arguably, they conquered it for a while until we fought them. But yet this tiny little Ireland, the Irish, which is where my blood comes from. My parents are both full-blood Irish. Okay? We were able to fucking keep them back. Northern Ireland fell to England, but the Southern Irish stayed autonomous against the fucking Greeks, against the Romans, against the fucking Vikings, against everybody. And Ireland and finally got their independence back. And then 2 days later, they gave it all to Europe. Like, oh, let's become part of Europe. It sounds great. And the next thing you know, Ireland is now being invaded, and Ireland is so fucking small population-wise, not only geographically, that it is getting bled out and bled out and bled out in a few generations with the birth rates that the Muslims and the Africans have. It's going to be over, completely over. And don't forget, you know, red hair, green eyes are very recessive traits. These are not the type of traits. You have one little drop of African blood in that. That's the end of your red hair forever. Okay? So not just about hair color, not just about, it's just about the culture of a people that have been fighting for fucking years and years and decades and centuries and have held up, and then all of a sudden have just given up to this fucking invasion. And hopefully I'm going to have my homie on Fergus Power pretty soon. We're going to do an Ireland, report. And we're going to tell us all what's going on over there with their grooming gangs and with their infiltration. And apparently Ireland actually shut down trying to have this free speech. They tried to have these hate speech laws in Ireland. Like, you can't say this. They actually stopped it. Ireland actually stopped that. And then now they're having these pushbacks. I'm not saying this is a good thing, but some of the population are burning down some of the centers that they're trying to move people into. There's a lot of pushback. Ireland is awake. I'm very proud of the people over there, not the violent ones, of course, but they need to save their country. Ireland is such a tiny, precious island, such great history. You know, the oldest building in the world is actually you go back to Göbekli Tepe, but the oldest one that's known is actually called Newgrange, and it's a burial dome, and it's got the shaft of light. It lines with the sun and everything like that, sun and the moon. And just like fucking Stonehenge and the pyramids, older than the pyramids. Newgrange, look it up. So it's an old ancient culture. Not only that, if you look at the ancient cultural art of Ireland, you look at like the world and the medieval art that their countries had, it was all like blocky and crappy. And then you go back in the ancient Ireland stuff, it's like calligraphy and spirals and gold and Celtic knots and very, very high level stuff. So anyway, I'm a little biased for the Irish people, but we got to save Ireland and we got to save these people. And this idea that we're just going to let a group of people come in and then have your 13-year-old girl in a party, like they don't say, hey, it's time to go home to your mom. They're like partying supposedly with this girl, and the cops come over and they arrest the girl and put her in a jail cell and don't even question anybody. And it turns out a lot of these cops are in on it too. They're either taking kickbacks or getting a little something out of the deal when these grooming gangs have these women, trained, girls trained, as it were. Let's listen to this again. That's very, very poignant.
Arrested a 13-year-old girl for being drunk and disorderly. They took her back to the station, put her in the cells, eventually charged her, and she was convicted. They didn't even question the men as to why they were in a house with a 13-year-old girl who was nearly naked in the early hours of the morning.
Great. That's great. Don't bother. No need. It's all part of the cultural enrichment. All part of the cultural enrichment. Let's go back to our stories. Actually, I'm going to just do a quick deal here. I'm going to play this. Let's see. Media assets. I'm going to play this real quick. I'll be right back.
You are the audience. You're the human race. I want you to look it up. Are you ignoring?
You guys were forced vaccinated.
You're talking about the original Alex Jones. It wasn't Alex Jones. It was Bob Marley.
That's what I'm saying. Marley was a gateway drug. Get up, stand up.
System is the vampire.
It is the Constitution of the United States of America, and we are all interested in it. The people are interested in saving it. We hold it dear to ourselves, and you all piss on it daily.
Crazy rolls have shaved heads.
Nothing down there, and you just do what your only joy is clicks on the internet because you did what you were told to.
I'm wearing that. I hear this. I call upon the Holy Spirit now! I call upon the Holy Spirit to stop this sickness! And I mean it.
And we're going to see what's going on down here at the border with American soil. All of the people you've seen in there are actually now in America. And so they are now waiting to go to a processing center. So this is what it looks like, AOC.
This is not a spectator sport. The globalists are up in the skybox. They're watching the Super Bowl. Everyone in that stadium is the human race. We need to get down on the field and join the battle, and the people in the skybox will run so fast.
I'm getting excited now because you understand that Hegelian dialectic, right?
The American. There we go. Those are nice shirts too. I wish I had.
Yeah, I love that logo.
Matt Baker is running the Liberty Awards, and he joins us now. Matt, thank you so much for coming. We appreciate you being here.
Stu, it's an honor to finally meet you here in virtual space. You're an amazing person in this world.
Welcome back to the Mel K Show. Super excited. My guest today, I saw in a viral video that millions of people saw, the whole world cheered, and Matt Baker is here with us today. Thank you for joining me, sir.
All right. Good times. Good times. I'm going to try and put together some more of those and maybe work on the audio a little bit. I got some good mashups over the years. So many amazing moments. So many great interviews. Met so many great people in this movement. Let's try to keep it going. Let's try to focus ourselves and remember why we came here, what we were fighting for in the beginning, and try to get some fucking justice out of this deal. Can we ever see these motherfuckers get rolled? Holy fucking shit. Give me a break. Okay, our next story ties into the last story, the grooming gangs, and that poor 13-year-old girl. Like, this is crazy. She's naked at a party with these dudes, and almost naked, drunk, blackout drunk, and they arrest the girl and do not even question anybody else. What a world we live in. I mean, at a certain point, if we're going to act like this, we just deserve it, man. Maybe the Western world's over. I mean, we're just pathetic. The shit we put up with, man. The shit we put up with our own governments. I'm just going to have a quick rant here. Okay, going into fucking rant mode. The shit we put up with our own governments. Okay. I love it when Americans, Second Amendment gun-toting Americans, talk to the English. We're like, oh, I don't think the English have what it takes to stand up against their government. They don't have the Second Amendment. And then even English people will always talk. They'll be on streams or lives and be like, oh, you guys have the Second Amendment. You can stand up for yourselves. I think they're afraid of you. And then sit around and get them down and fight that right. Well, look, we've had the Second Amendment for quite some time now. They stole elections. Nothing. They locked everybody down. Nothing. They fucking made everybody take vaccines. They let people's mothers, grandmothers die in places. They've stolen our money. They shut everything down. They're forcing the kids to take vaccines. So what exactly is that Second Amendment going to come into play? I'm not calling for it or anything. I'm just saying America's always like, oh, they won't do that to us. It's like, what won't they do exactly? They're just slow rolling everything. It's a Chinese credit score coming in through Palantir, and it's okay because it's against Antifa or it's to stop the Muslims, right? It's okay because they shut down because they stole the election because, oh, we found it back. It's okay when they locked up all the J6 people. Nothing happened. Where is the Second Amendment? Whoever used it, what good is it? Is it ever going to come into play? What does it take? And I'm not calling for it. I'm just saying it's a thing is bullshit. When I go down to these city councils and I yell at these scumbags about every single day them stealing our fucking money and wasting it on bullshit. Some part of me, like just recently, they've decided they're going to charge us to go to our local park, right? We've had a park for over 100 years. It was built. It's one of the world's fair places. It's fucking gorgeous. It was never torn down. It's the best piece of architecture in San Diego. It's called Balboa Park. It supposedly was built just for a couple of weeks for the World's Fair. And it's absolutely gorgeous architecture, hands down better than anything. And they were going to tear it down. Luckily, we didn't tear this down. But so they built this thing. Back in the day, a couple of people put some millions in and built this beautiful park, absolutely gorgeous. We got museums, we've got we got a aerospace theater, Museum of Man, which they've changed the Museum of Us now because it's more inclusive. It's gorgeous, fountains, statues, the whole bit, absolutely gorgeous. But now we can't go to this park, which they gave us, basically was given for free to the people of San Diego, and so it's been free for everybody to go to forever. Whenever people come in town, I'm like, hey, go to Balboa Park. It's fucking awesome. So they've decided, because they're broke, because they've blown all our money on gay fucking pride promenades and other bullshit, illegal homeless people and all this other stuff, other little fucking pet projects and dumb roundabouts and fucking bike lanes they put everywhere. They're out of money. So now, instead of cutting these other projects, they're raping and pillaging the people. They're fucking charging us $10 an hour to park outside the Petco Park where the Padres play, which used to be $1.25. Then they double it, $2.50. And before you could even say, what the fuck? They made it, it's $10 whenever we want it to be. Could be 20 if we want it to be. So now they've raking in all this money from these parking meters. Now they're like, hey, why don't we charge people to go to Balboa Park? We're like, this is our fucking land. We've had this for free. You can't just start charging us to go to things that are our own thing. Charge us to go to the beach. Charge us to the parking lots. Trying to shut down fire pits, which we actually survived. But we went down there. There was over 104 people that went to this meeting. Well, we want to hear public comment. See how you feel about us putting parking meters in. Every single motherfucker that was down there was like, we don't want it. We don't want it. We don't want it. It was old people, bridge players, school kids from the school that parked there because they don't have a parking lot. There was, little clubs, art clubs, people, children, old people that play bridge. Every single person. We don't want it. We don't want it. We don't want it. We don't want it. Don't want it. Don't want it. 2 people came up. I think it's a great idea. Shills that they paid for. Then they went to the phone conversations. They had all the people called in on the phone. The people called in like, no, please, no. 2 people like, I think it's a great idea. So it was like 210 people to 4 people that were for it. And guess what happened? They fucking passed it. And then after they passed that, and everyone's like, what? I can't believe he did this. They went right to the next agenda item, which was, and now how about adding parking meters outside the park too? And they fucking passed it too against all the people. And you know what made me think? During COVID, you saw I went viral during COVID, yelling and screaming at these people. I think at that moment, those guys actually did have fear in their hearts. They were like, oh my God, we've pushed the people too far. They can't take it. But what they saw was, over time, nothing ever fucking happened. When I threatened them that they've broken the Nuremberg Code and the penalty for violating the Nuremberg Code is death, they went home and they looked at it on their computer like, holy shit, he's right. I hope these guys don't start getting their pitchforks. And then they realized they could piss off the entire planet and get everybody in town yelling and screaming at them, and still nothing happens. So now they know they can just get away with whatever they want. They know they can shut the world down. They know they can force vaccinate your kid. They know they can steal your money. They know they can fucking invade countries. They know they can have a foreign country fucking running the government. They know they can get paid off by Big Pharma. They know they can fucking lie to you every day about JFK, RFK, fucking MLK. They know they can get away with it because they've already raised the temperature so fucking high and nothing happens. Ever. These people go scot-free constantly. This has to change. We can't just constantly keep following the ball. What's the next fucking ball? We need fucking justice for the things that we know they've done already. And if these motherfuckers don't pay legally and lawfully, politically, we're never going to see change. Ever going to see change. And they know now it's almost worse that they got away with what they got away with, because now they know they can keep fucking us and nothing happens. Now they know they can steal your birthright and no Second Amendment, no Nuremberg trials, no fucking treason, and nothing ever happens. What's to stop them from just saying, honestly, now every day I turn on my TV in San Diego and it's like, oh, they're now going to start charging for this. Oh, they're taking the money away from that. Oh, they've just decided to double your trash rates. Oh, they've just put up the water rates because they know you're not going to do anything. That's why. So they just keep fucking us over and over again. Anyway, let's go to the next story. Okay, Muslim world dominance in invasion. Elites flood borders for a caliphate takeover. Ex-Intel warns of strategic placement in New York City. Europe via open borders, rapid push for extermination of Western values tied to Mamdani's threats and liberal fantasies. World leaders must unite or face billions in uprising, which is where we're at, guys. How much more can we take? People are, Owen Shore is like, Mamdani's going to win because he's anti-Israel. But now you've got the people on the right. No, they're supporting Cuomo. Cuomo, the fucking homo, the piece of shit murdering bastard from COVID. Have we got no? Is there no heart? Is there no soul? Is there no pillar? Is there nothing too low that we won't bow down or make a deal with? Everyone wants to make a fucking deal. Fuck deals. We need principles. Principles. We need to stand on business and stop this deal-making fucking bullshit. Deals with the devil. That's all it is. Everything's a fucking deal. Oh, we'll give you this. Well, if you let us have a little bit of these rare earth metals, well, we'll give you this tax, but we're going to charge you for the beef import. Well, we do this. Well, we'll give you a couple of missiles. Well, we're going to shut down these vaccines, but we'll give you the cancer vaccines and mRNA. Well, we're going to shut down that, but we're going to give you the fucking Palantir police state. I don't want a deal. I want fucking the Constitution. I want Bill of Rights. I want an internet Bill of Rights. I want to own my data. I want to fucking own my right to privacy. Fuck you. No more deals. Okay, let's watch the clip. World dominance invasion. Elites flood borders. The caliphate takeover. Ex-Intel warns of strategic placement in NYC. Year of open borders, a rapid push for the extermination of Western values, ties to Mamdani, threats of liberal fantasies. The liberal fantasies are there just to butter up the fucking commies. They've already said as part of the a lot of these what do they call them? Muftis? No, the clerics, the Muslim clerics, the people that do the leadership over there. They're like, oh, once we take over the countries, over the government, because they'll allow us. They're so dumb. They just allow us to vote in our people. Then once they get in, their goal is not even to create this like beautiful new Muslim world order. They want to collapse the evil West. They don't want to control it. They want to collapse it. So that's why, like with Cloward and Piven, They're going like, let's give everybody everything for free. Let's do this. Let's do that. And then the roads will collapse. There'll be bums everywhere. There'll be drugs given out for free. Everyone will be on welfare. The town will collapse. And that's just fucking rosy for them because that's like an enemy missile nuking New York. They don't need to. They just go in and completely lower the drawbridge, fuck everybody like they're doing in all these Democrat cities and turn it into an absolute hell on earth shithole. So, Tyson Mamdani threats liberal fantasy. See, that's bullshit. Liberal fan. There's no fantasy. He's just basically trying to get elected because he knows the Democrats will vote for him, and he knows some people that hate Israel will vote for him. And like I said, it only takes 10%. If you're 10% all votes for sure 100%, and you all vote for sure 100% for the same person, you fucking win. Okay, that's how it works. Until we start learning the fucking playbook, we're going to keep losing. Right. Watch the clip. Wow. It's not a fucking clip. It's a big fucking tirade. All right, here it is. You can check it out. While Trump is his handfuls fighting the problem of ending wars, deporting illegals, trying to make our inner city safer, dealing with this government shutdown, all the while bringing back justice and dismantling the deep state. Anyway, here it is. It's on Toneman Lives. Well, you can check that out. Maybe I'll put all the clips, links to the clips in the bottom of this video here. By the way, if anybody ever has the balls to come in here and actually talk to me, it could be friendly, it could be, you could hate me. I'll argue with you, or you could come in and we'll agree. I put the link. It's on my page. It's also in the comment section of this live stream, and you can come in and we can actually have a conversation live right here on the air. And so I'm just going to retweet that. It's going to go to the top of my page on X. I'm going to make sure I copy it and paste it. If you guys want to come at the end, one of these days, someone will take me up on it and we will have a conversation live on air. Maybe you can learn and become a little bit of a podcaster. I'll show you how to use some of these studios. If you don't know, I'm still learning. Anyway, I thought that was a video clip. It wasn't. Like I said, I only had an hour and a half, 2 hours to put this together while I was getting ready, getting my wife off to dialysis this morning. Had to make her breakfast, get my coffee rolling, plan the show. And again, we're just trying this out. We'll see if people like the new format or whatever. I'm not, I'm not a professional with this. I have no producer. I have zero backing, no money. I'm just doing this for the sake of humanity and just trying to put this out here. So let's see. We'll go to our next story. We're getting down there. We only got 2 more stories to go, I believe. Hopefully this one's got a video clip. I'm going to be staunch on that one in the future. Make sure they have video clips. All right. So let's see what our next story is. Okay. Broadcast files leaked. Tribunal clips of elite crimes air on satellite feeds. Now that's some Q type shit. Is this real? Raw military audio of officials admitting to crimes against humanity hits Europe and South America with subtitles. Is this real? QFS nodes activate the EBS, emergency broadcast system. So this is straight out of Q. Like I didn't even know about this. This is just one of the top stories I need to look into deeper. Maybe if you know about it, you could tell me. So I don't know if this is a hoax or not, but let's say that again. This is like, I want to believe Q. Please, Q. Be real. I just want to see the movie end already. Can we fucking end the movie? Can we roll the credits? Can we fucking roll these bitches up? Can we get our tribunals? Can we get our country back? Can we go back to a constitutional, non-fucking corporate American government? Can we have sovereign money? Can we have real money? Can we not be paying world banks? So I don't know. We got to look into this. Broadcast files leak. Tribunal clips of elite crimes air on satellite feeds. So they broke in to the emergency broadcast system and have raw military audio of officials admitting crimes against humanity. I mean, that's some Q shit. Is this real? History disintegrates as the quantum grid exposes the matrix. Wow. I hope there's a clip on this one. Let's see. Is there a clip or is this just some banter? Oh, gosh. Here we go. It's another one of these ones. All right. Next time, I'm going to try and find for sure clips on these. So, okay, digital ID servers are being reconfigured to align with the new quantum identity framework. Each verified individual will receive their node access, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to actually have to ask Grok about this one. I'm not sure if I'm believing this. Let's see. All right. So, I mean, you know, like, I got a lot of Q friends, you know, Q-tards, we call them. You know, they trust the plan and everything's going according to plan. And I don't know, man. My popcorn was stale a long time ago. When Trump got back in and the J6 prisoners got released, I was kind of like, well, maybe, you know. Then the next day, it's like anti-Semitism is a national health emergency, says RFK. And Trump comes out, was like, he's got Bibi Netanyahu in the White House the next day, and then it's like, oh, we're gonna have Palantir, we're gonna have $500 billion for data centers to analyze your DNA to give everybody their own individual cancer vaccine. It's going to be controlled by AI, and we're going to create mRNA, especially for you. It's going to be tremendous. And I'm just like, oh, shit, we're fucked. We're fucked. We're toast. Black pill, black pill, black pill. Okay, let's see. The Post outlines a supposed rollout. I knew it was too good to be fucking true. Broadcast files via the emergency broadcast system. This is bullshit. It's fucking more hopium. Fuck this shit. I should have vetted that. I didn't get down to the bottom of the stories. So there's that. That's that. Let's see. I think that might have been our 10th story. Still got nobody wants to come in. Nobody's coming in. Let's see here. Was that my last story? Oh, no, we got one more story. Let's see here. One more story. Mike Benz live. Brennan charges shut down chaos. Deep state counter-strike intel. Okay, let's see what we got here. Oh, we got a video. Nice. Oh, it's Alex Jones. Is it the whole thing? It's not the whole show. All right.
State researcher is going to be joining us in studio today at 12:30, coming up about an hour and a half. That should be very interesting. He's got a lot of new breaking information. He's going to be revealing about what's going on in the deep state wars.
Oh, yeah. I think I saw this
yesterday.
Have a really
great comedian I'll tell you about later joining us in studio.
Let's have a look, because this guy, you know, Alex had him on. God bless Alex. You know, you say what you will. You know what I will say about Alex Jones? I'm going to give Alex Jones serious props now, real quick, before I go on. I had some issues with his guest. Okay, so Alex, you know, doesn't call the Jews out enough. Alex, limited hangout, blah, blah, blah. He's a Jew, this and that. So, I've been ranting and raving about why is it that the very movement that is supposed to be pro capitalist, pro free market. We believe in the free market. We believe that you vote with your dollars. But yet when it comes to funding or helping people, like you got Harry Sisson, you've got all these homos, you've got anybody who wants to push Israeli propaganda, there's money for you. If you want to push Democrat talking points, there's money for you. If you want to push, LGBTQI plus bullshit on children, there's money for you. There's money for you. But if you're out here supporting capitalism and supporting free market and supporting America, there's no money for you. You get no money. So when these people sell out to Israel, it's like, hey, these guys spend fucking years. I've spent like 5 years doing this, $0. Eventually, Israel knocks on your door like, hey, we give you a deal. You want to work for us? We give you $2,000 a show and you're going to be great. You can do this show. Just don't say this. And every once in a while, we'll have a little talking point for you. It's okay. You do your thing. So that was Zelensky for some reason. But, so they sell out. Okay. Because there's no money in right-wing politics, in true grit, like, proper constitutionality. Like, there's no money in it. Why isn't there rich people like Patrick Byrne, who actually did put out some money for the Cause Fest, which you saw part of the speech there in that little clip I played earlier? He helped pay for some money for that. But of all the people, Alex Jones has put more money into helping people grow than anyone else out there. Hands down, not even a contest. You can argue if he's as good as some of these other people that came before him. But you know what? He had me on. Nobody knew who I was. I mean, I went viral, but he had me on. He gave me a channel. He's Savannah Hernandez, Alex Stein, I even think Jack Posobiec. I think, like Harrison Smith, Owen Schroyer, David Knight. Look at all the people that he's had on. Allison Steinberg. All these people that he's had on and helped make big, and even given little pieces of the show to, or let have channels, let have this. Allison Steinberg had a channel. He actually has helped, like, full on given an entire show to people like Harrison Smith, like Brianna Morello, like Owen Schroyer, like David Knight. And so all these people have gotten full on shows. He's actually put his money where his mouth is and has put his money back into the system and helped people grow up. And a lot of those people then maybe even disagree with him. Greg Reese, people, they disagree with him, but he helped them. He gave them money. He helped kindle the flame. He helped kindle my flame. I get $0 from him, but he helped me. He helped me by putting me on. I mean, he was supposed to be helping with the American Liberty Awards. He ended up dissing it in the end for no apparent reason. He said he was going to go. He was the guest of honor, but nonetheless, he helped. But this guy here, this guy's like, oh yeah, the economy's going great. Everything's going according to plan. And he said something else that fucking threw me over the edge. See what this guy says.
Okay. And I would love to work.
Within the EU, there is, I think what's happening in France is a big tip of the spear, and the German government. The UK, Trump has a very seemingly a cordial, friendly relationship with Keir Starmer, but Keir Starmer is.
President Trump will do this.
I forget what it was that he said that threw me over the edge.
But
I don't.
The smarter effect.
I'm not really trusting this guy. I forget what it was that he said that I was just like, dude, that is straight out of CIA propaganda. So he's like supposed to be this guy. He's on the inside letting it out. Another thing, before I get too carried away, I know the show's all over the place. I'm trying to keep it on topic here. Is, of course, they're going to have these people, like Steve Friend, you've got, or Kyle Seraphin. To me, it seems like the CIA, FBI, they always have the whistleblower guy. So when you don't trust the last guy, the new whistleblower comes out. So if you don't trust Kash Patel, like, oh, Kash, he's sold out. He's going along with the mainstream. It's like, oh, but the whistleblower's coming out and he's going to tell you the inside scoop. And it's the same thing with maybe the same thing with Candace Owens. It's like, she's got the inside scoop. She's done it. And then she basically tells you, it's all, it was all above board. It was a single bullet, blah, blah, blah. So they're always producing this new guy that works from inside the system, that is broken from the system, and he's the whistleblower and he's going to expose the deep state. Like, dude, the deep state will kill you in a fucking heartbeat. Do you really think some of these whistleblowers are actually still walking around alive if they're really going to show you the real deal Holyfield? Or either that or they're left a room. Like, remember Bongino gets into the FBI and he's like, there's a room, like a locked room with some files. He finds the Epstein file, like in the room, like, don't go in there, Bongino. He's like, oh God, I found the files. It's like, they leave them on the table, or someone calls you like, hey, I've got the info. And then they give you the curated Epstein files. And then he reads them and is like, I've seen everything there is to see. How could you possibly know that? All this bullshit. I'm so sick of it, dude. Anybody who says they know for a fact or they've seen it all and da, 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 da. When you're dealing with these fucking agencies, that lying is their job. They've been lying for centuries. That's all they do is hide information or keep information for blackmail. You know, they're not just going to give you all the information just because you got voted in. They're not just going to go, okay, you got us. Here's all the information. They're going to sanitize it up, make sure all their guys are out of the files, and feed it back to you and feed you the bunch of bullshit that they want. You know what we need to do? We need any investigation of any size at all needs to be put on a blockchain. I'm not even a giant blockchain fan with the crypto and all that, because I feel like it's a backdoor to surveillance. But when it comes to government investigations, the entire investigation should be on a blockchain. So that way, when you get to the end and you say, I want to see that file, they either don't show you the file, or they show you the file and it's there with the metadata, with all of the pieces, with all of the files, with all of the cases, with all of the information, every single piece, top to bottom, in that blockchain. So when you see that file, you could say, I've seen the whole file, because the entire file itself is a blockchain. That's something we need to have done ASAP, because otherwise every single investigation is going to be how much we want to save, and then we give it to you, and then you hide your friend, and then they hide their friend, and they hide their friend, and by the end of the time you get it, you get nothing. So you have to have a file that is a blockchain file on all investigations of any way at all. In fact, we could just start doing it with all investigations. Any investigation is on a blockchain. And you can still have classified levels. You say, oh, we have to have a classified clearance to read this particular part. It's classified. And then you go into that blockchain, you enter in your classification documents, and then that part opens up. And then when you're president, you can say, I want to declassify all of it. You put a code into the file, and the entire file gets declassified, top to bottom, blockchain. One, mathematically proven that it's all part of the blockchain that could be seen, open source. And the people would actually believe what was happening. They'd actually believe the stories. They'd actually believe the investigation. They'd believe Bongino when he says, I've seen everything there is to see. I've seen it all. He killed himself. There is no Epstein file. All right. So nobody wants to join me. The fucking link is there. The link is there. You could come in before I cut this off, and you could say hi, but you don't want to. Well, I'm going to do it. So if you're not ready today, next time I do it, I'm going to keep doing this. I'm going to keep offering it. Now, eventually, if it gets out of control and there's too many people trying to jump in my feed, I might change the rules. But as of now, there's 0 people. So you can just go ahead and fucking jump in at any time you want. You can come in and call me a piece of shit. You want to do it? Let's go. Bring it in. Bring it on. Tell me I'm a commie. Tell me I'm a Jew. Let's go. All right. We'll have a look up a couple of other little stories real quick here. Just have a little bit of fun. I'm just going to play one clip while I'm getting this ready. Let's see my t-shirts here. All right. That's a little loud, that audio on that. I'm not sure how loud it comes off on your side. So we got this is like this trending. I don't know how this is trending, but it's like a dog is firing an RPG. It's like what are you doing? The IDF has trained dogs. I don't know how this is the IDF because it doesn't look like it looks like it's in like New York or England or something. It doesn't look like it's in Israel by any means there. Let's see this one. This is fucking crazy, dude. If this is real, holy shit, dude. This is insane.
Okay. Okay. I need to call somebody.
I don't know. It looks real. It looks real. I don't know. Maybe it's not. I don't know. That fuck AI is getting good. I wonder what Grok has to say about that. Let's see if that one is fake or not. Obviously, this one's fake. Let's see. I wonder if this is real. Crypto info uses. Oh, it's a viral AI generated. Wow, that is so realistic. Oh my god, that looks so real. Like the mechanics, the physics of the way they're jumping and moving is so realistic. Holy shit, that's insane. The toilet way it's moving around. Oh my god, that is freakily good. That's what sucks. Even if something cool happens now, you have no idea. Oh, look at this. My boy. One of these days, he's going to be doing the show with me a little bit at night. We're probably going to do like a drunken Friday. I've been good. I took another month off drinking, hitting the non-alcoholic beers. Some good non-alcoholic beers out there, by the way. Some non-alcoholic Guinnesses, really good. So he was doing a lot of these commercials for InfoWars. He's getting paid by Rob Dew there to bust out these AI commercials. But this one's, I guess it's somewhat of a commercial, but it's really just classic. The Tucker Carlson on the xylophone is so hilarious. But even though it is AI, he is actually writing these. He used to do like freestyle rap and writes raps. So he's actually writing the lyrics. I mean, if you listen to it, the lyrics you'd have to be too familiar with the show to really understand all of the things he's laying down here, but it's done so well. And that's my boy, Wars of the Info, another Matt. His name is Matt. My name is Matt. Gotta love the Matts. And let's see here. I'm gonna big screen this.
And that supplements, water filters. We got all of that. Remember.
This is good. Full screen, baby.
Live from the Copa Room at the Sands Hotel and Casino in fabulous Las Vegas, we bring you Alex Jones, Tucker Carlson, and surprise special
Give me a
guests
second.
tonight only. So sit back, pour yourself a drink, and enjoy the show.
They try to shut me down because I speak the truth. InfoWars for elders, InfoWars for the youth. 30 years on the air, exposing evil lies, making people of all races open up their eyes. Funded by the listeners, t-shirts and that, supplements, water filters. We got all of that. Remember the bone broth, and I eat my neighbors. I like to have fun. You know, I flip many flavors. When I did the Cobra skit, that got a lot of laughs. Everywhere I go, people want my autograph. Snap a flick, take a pic, and they tell me I was right. The Podesta playing goblins here, lurking in the night. See me talking with Tucker on a visit to Maine. Rob Dew, he's my crew, flew up on the plane. But this ain't chat 2 or no fantasy island. I'm dropping truth bombs on a microphone style, and I get in the zone with my man Roger Stone. I'm bad to the bone when I expose all the clones. Government madness, scientific schemes. Depopulation is their #1 dream. They'd off the Great Reset, it's all been exposed. I got the real shit, don't take no bros. Take Turbo Force, so wait, it's out of stock. Maybe I should make myself an Alex Jones clock. Every album on the album, he yells as a reminder to hit the Alex Jones store. If you couldn't be kinder, buy your friend a shirt or maybe a subscription. Get them hooked up on a CMOS addiction. Word to Chase Geyser and Harrison Smith. Brianna in the morning, yo, who you down with, the good or the bad? The choice is yours. It's like Budweiser, Miller, or even a Coors. Domestic or imported, news gets distorted. But one thing's for sure, my mission's not aborted. If they shut down InfoWars, it's only a name, Alex Jones Network. That's
That's the new game. Try to take me down with the Sandy Hook rap. Heard about the First Amendment. What's up with that? I can't question something I thought looked suspicious. Damn, the deep state is nothing but vicious, shifting all the laws just to fit their agenda. See, I'm the real sugar, and it's just some splendor. The people all know that took the time to listen that I'm out here full throttle on a truthful mission. MC Alex Jones rocks the mic like no other. Now hit the website and buy a war bond, brother.
Oh yeah, we got a guest up in this house. Got Jay Rilla, dropping hella time, dropping all the time. Yo, tell me what's on your mind.
MC Alex Jones rocks the mic like no other. Now hit the website and buy a war bond,
brother. All right, we got someone. We got
What's up,
Jay
baby?
Rilla. What's up, my man?
How you doing? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you
Good, man. I'm at work. I was I
you doing?
saw you on live. I'm like, what, an open invitation? Let me hit up my boy. I'm always texting you, inspiration.
I don't know why
stuff,
nobody
so
takes me up on this shit. I have 1,000 people watching, and I'm like, anybody, come on in. Like, I don't want to do like the phone calls a little, it's annoying. So why not do a video? Yeah. How you
it's
been?
beautiful, man. And good. Very blessed, and you're killing it, man. I like the topics. I like what you're doing as far as with the AI stuff. I mean, AI right now is ridiculous, But one thing you was hitting on, which prompted me, was that blockchain idea for the investigations. I think that's a good way to utilize blockchain, is make sure that open sources so we can keep track. I mean, I was going over stuff like you say 5 years into it, and it's like we forget most of the stuff that we've already covered, and people discover it like it's brand new, and I'm like, bro, this is old. But the point of it is, how do we keep track in such a ever-moving, fast-paced news landscape? So blockchain is, especially when it comes to the investigations, is a great utilization for that.
Yeah, man. I don't know if I've heard anybody else come up with that idea yet, but I mean, they probably don't want to hear it, because how the fuck are they going to do all their bullshit if we do that? It's kind of like, like voting for, like, hey, why doesn't everybody vote to take money out of politics? It's like, well, because we're all getting money. They're not going to vote for that. You know what I mean? But the one way you could get money out of politics is we could offer them money. Basically, what if you had like a war bond in the country, right? And you said,
oh, that's good.
Based on the GDP, or how much money how much money in debt we are, like if you can increase our GDP or lower our debt by a certain amount, you get a percentage of that money instead of money from other people. So you get you're basically getting a war bond out of how well America's doing. So if America's sucking, you're getting nothing. If America's doing well, you get a prosperity dividend. So there would be money, and you could basically somehow sell them to where, like, look, you're going to make more money off these war dividends, off the prosperity dividend, than you would off of this money that you're selling out the country. So get rid of all that other bullshit money, and now you actually get an incentive base. Like, look, if the economy starts doing well, if the overall population is has a happiness factor of 90%, you get this amount of money. If the economy goes up by 10%, you get this amount of money. If the national debt goes down, you get this. So if you get happiness, you get the economy goes up and the national debt goes down, you're like, oh yeah, I got 20 million this year. And so everybody would be trying to fucking make things work instead of selling us out.
Well, that's a perfect point. And I think, basically, with the tariffs, I think what Trump had set out to do initially, that's kind of the same thing like with the prosperity bonds. I think that's a great idea. But I mean, yeah, if we was to actually implement these tariffs, you could wipe out half of the subsidized programs, or more so subsidize these subsidized programs with the income from the tariffs. You know what I mean? And we'll be able to keep our tax funds, our tax dollars, versus sending them overseas. I mean, think about $400 billion to fight a foreign war to kill people. There's no prosperity in death. So, I mean, if there was definitely a system to reverse that, and like you say, a crowdsourced populist participation movement, I guess, for lack of better terms, where you see the incentive of doing good. But I mean, look at the flip side of that. When you have these Democrats, or whatever party you want to label it as, it's more profitable for them to divide us than to have us united.
Exactly, man. Yeah, I mean, we come up with I was just spitting today, but I mean, these are a couple of things I've been thinking about. But I think I'm glad you liked it, because sometimes I just feel like I'm just talking into nobody's paying attention. But yeah, I mean, if you had basically, you got money completely out of politics, but you funded campaigns, because obviously you need money for the campaign, you would have basically, by winning the local race, there would be a certain cash that was given to you to go on to the next race. So, I mean, San Diego would be behoovent to have to win the state government. Like if we got a San Diego guy that the people in San Diego love be the new Gavin Newsom, I'm sure that would shake out positively for San Diego. So we would give money to our San Diego guy to go up and battle and try and win the round robins all the way up, and then with increasing funds as they go up, taken from, from city and state governments, instead being paid for by people who just sell us out constantly. And then you do that, and then you give a dividend to the people when they get in based on prosperity and happiness. And then whenever you do these investigations, you have them on blockchains. I mean, those are three things that could really make some changes, I think.
Well, I mean, essentially, isn't that what AIPAC is doing? You know what I mean? Because when you think about how they just took all those quote unquote politicians over there to Israel, I mean, come on, they have big pockets. We know that, right? But their funds influence our politics. So, like you say, there's a certain aspect of you need money in politics, but when somebody with a bigger bank can come buy up your opposition or basically price you out of the race itself, I mean, where do we go from there? Because I'm seeing even now, a lot of people that I would have supported online are, like, oh, they got good politics. Now I see them over there shaking the hand and kissing the wall, which, that's your business. But they know, now we know where your funding is coming from. So can I really wholeheartedly, honestly support you when it's like, oh, we're going to make Jerusalem great again? Or you're like, well, that's great, but just a year ago you was an American First candidate, or you built up your rapport based on this, but now you're going to get a lot of money from somewhere. We know where it comes from, but you buy out the grassroots in the sense of now there's no substance to your argument. I don't trust you. Does that make sense? Because like you said, if there's a San Diego guy, yeah, we could fund him to the top, but at the end of the day, like, for instance, AIPAC fighting against Thomas Massie.
Yeah, once it gets to a certain height, then they go, well, we could just pay you. What are you making? We'll pay you double, whatever they're paying you. We'll pay you double, and then now you're working for them. And then it's a funny thing is that they then do actually go and kiss the wall, Once it gets to a certain height, sorry, and then it's like you could argue, people like, hey, what's wrong with showing cultural? You go to Israel and you show your respect to the wall, but like. Someone made a really good point. Like, when was have you ever seen Bibi Netanyahu put on a rosary and go into a Catholic church and bow down to the preacher there? Have you ever seen? I mean, why not? Why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't Bibi Netanyahu go and do the Lord's, the call to prayer, and be like, and he's like, he bows down, puts the turban on. No, the only time people just completely give up on their own culture and be like, well, I have to wear the tiny hat. I have to bow to the wall. I have to. It's like, why do you? You can't just go to Israel and be like, hey, really like what you guys are doing. Appreciate it. Praying for you guys. No, it's like, put the tiny hat on, get to the wall. You got to prove it. It's like, but they never do that same thing for other cultures or other races. It's a one-way street. And it's like, it'd be one thing. It's even worse than the wars. For me, it's even worse than the wars because Adam King, Adam King, he was info warrior dude. And I don't know, for me, he got like, I've eaten at his house, he tried to make me his Shabbos goy and turn on his light switches and stuff. But I didn't do it. But he did cook. He had dinner pre-cooked because you can't cook. So he's had it in the oven. It was like he turned the oven on the day before. It's in there slowly heating. And then we were eating dinner and he was talking about how he doesn't like, he didn't like some of the, the ADL, and he didn't like Bibi Netanyahu. But now, because they're under so much attack, he's become radicalized. So where he's now like all about Israel and all about the war and all, like he's like a full magatard, like to where no matter what Trump does, it's all perfect. Like there's no questioning it. And so it's a bummer because he's become like that just because of what's going on in the war. And I feel like he should be able to still question his people. And as much as people say, I don't want to pay for their wars, he said to me, he's like, well, I thought you were anti-Fauci. I thought you wanted Fauci in jail and this and that. Well, as you heard earlier, I still want him in jail. But the thing is, Fauci is not directly impeding my daily movement now, like he was then. He wasn't stopping me from having my Bill of Rights like he was then. Like he was literally putting the screws to me. I can't move. I can't walk. I can't work. I can't do this. They want to inject me. I'm like, you're the number one enemy. Well, now that is Israel, regardless of what you think about the war, which obviously it's disgusting and it's genocidal and all of the above. But worse than that even is they are the only country. You could say Qatar's paying people off, and Israel and France has got a lobby, and these guys have a lobby. There's no lobby telling me I can't have free speech to call French people frog bitches, French cunts, or hate the French and the French fries and call them freedom fries, because there's no lobby for that. There's no lobby for hating on America. You can hate on America. You can call them a dictator, a piece of shit. The founding fathers are racist pieces of crap. Tear down statues. That's fine. The only people in the world putting the screws to me right now, telling me I can't say certain things, is Israel. They're the only one. Even China. China doesn't come out and say, you stop the people talking like a Chinese people, or we are stop there. We will not give you no more weapon. We're not giving no more computer. We're not giving no more microchip. If you do the impression of the Chinaman, there's no law against that. But if you go oy vey, then now you're a fucking racist anti-Semite, and you're going to shut you down and cut your account off and possibly shut your bank account down. They're the only people doing that. So they're my enemy.
Well, and I definitely wouldn't disagree with you, right? And you say something in that vein of like, who's really coming after your liberties and who's really coming after your speech. I mean, in order to have a discussion, you and I don't always have to agree on something, but in order to gain fruitful conversation, I have to be able to say what I want to say, and you have to be able to say what you want to say. And whenever the other person says, well, you can't say that because this makes you that, meaning anti-Semitic, whatever racist, whatever blanket statement they want to put on that. Well, the counteraction is frustration, right? Because it's beyond being silenced or being canceled. It's now you are literally interfering with my ability to be me, right? And
they were trying to say they were going to take people's passports away because of it. If you're in a school, you can protest anybody in the world. You've always been able to protest on anybody, but not Israel. We're going to take away your thing. You can say whatever you want on your platform, but not those people, or we're going to take your account away. It's like it used to be COVID, and now it's like, don't say that, or we're taking your account away. And then now they buy up all of our accounts, all of our platforms. Like when before Trump, when Alex Jones was getting censored, and he was trying to tell Trump, like back then, this is so simple. Why can't we just do simple solutions? Like, when Trump was back then, before Trump even got kicked off Twitter, the sitting president of the United States lost his account on an American company, a speech platform in America. I would have simply came out and said, executive order, which they love doing. And it would have been like, if you're going to do business on a speech platform and you want to do business in America, you're going to abide by the First Amendment, or you're just going to do business elsewhere. Simple as that. If you're a speech platform, you're going to abide by the First Amendment or do business elsewhere. That would have shut the whole fucking COVID bullshit down. It would shut all of this fucking anti-Semitism bullshit, which all it does is make people more angry. Because I could go back and forth and just say, yes, they're doing this genocide, but that's their deal. But now they're over here. Now they're fucking with me. Now they're telling me what I can say, which makes me want to say it more. I didn't even really care about the whole Jewish thing before, but now you're telling me I can't say it. Now you're saying you're going to take my account away. Now you're fucking with me, and now I'm pissed. Why can't we just have a simple rule? All speech platforms will abide by the First Amendment or do business elsewhere. Okay.
Well,
how simple is that?
Yeah, my biggest gripe with Trump right now, and even in the first administration, why not repeal the Smith-Mundt Act or put it back into force? I mean, either way, because of the Smith-Mundt Act, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Being able to propagandize the American people. You and I both know this. What's the hesitation? Why not do a reversal on that? because until you do that, you can tell me anything and then pee in my face and say, no, that's just a little bit of rain. Yeah, it's yellow, but it's just a little bit of rain. But no, it's like, and that to me is the open gate and the elephant in the room, like Trump.
No, it's
Wake
piss.
up,
It's
bro.
just the Qataris are pissing on you.
Oh, that's good. That's good. It's guitar tea. No, I'm joking. But hey, I wanted to thank you for letting me jump on, man. I am at work.
Hey, we
but,
should do it again. We should do it again. Let's play some of your jams. What did you think about the lyrics on that clip? Pretty good, huh?
Oh, I like it. And AI is so amazing, man. I mean, don't get me wrong.
He
I'm
wrote the
still-
lyrics though. He did write the
Yeah.
lyrics. So, you know.
the music is classy, and everything gels together well, man. So it's a very interesting world that we're entering into in this realm.
Oh,
But
man.
man, may God continue to bless you and your family, man, and shout out to all your viewers and all that, man. I greatly appreciate you.
Dude, I'm so
You are
stoked you came on. Let's do it again. If nobody else, because this is what I said. Like, how they say it's like, I'll let you go, but if you want to get a job or something, they're like rule number 1, show up. Like, so I've been like asking people to come on, like, maybe get you, a little nicer camera and a little setup, and we can have a little co-host happening for a while, like I said, I mean, if millions of people are hitting me up, then I'll rotate. But as of now, there's only one, and I love, because we vibe already, so yeah, I'm down. And if you want to jump on anytime, man, please jump in. I'm going to put
Good
the
deal,
link
man.
in every time. So you see me go live, I'll do it. I'll be doing a Friday night show with my boy that did the AI there, Wars of the Info. He's been doing all the commercials on Alex Jones, and we'll probably be drinking a few, so it might be a little off the rails, but we do impressions and we're having fun. So we'll probably do a couple of drinks. So if you want to drop in then at the night when you have a little bit more time, we'll do it
As a matter of
3-way.
fact, we've started up the Titans of Liberty Return of the Titans podcast. We're not going live. We're doing the tape right now, but we tape it on Thursday. So we would love to have you as a guest and, get your
Anytime.
feedback on that as well, man, because, you kicked it off with us long ago. And like I said, we took a hiatus, but the reality is with Jason Lobo over there, MAGA Titan, we're back at it. But the politics of things is so mundane, man. And, you get a little jaded.
It's Black
after you
Billy,
do
man,
it.
because you fight so hard to get Trump in, and then he does all this bullshit. You're like, God, dude, really? And there's no Epstein files? Come on.
Well, Epstein, you still talking about that guy? I've been dead.
Yeah.
Joking,
Oh,
man.
that was actually before I went ranting on. Is you're like, well, why don't they do the Smith-Mundt, get rid of the Smith-Mundt Modernization Act? Is because it's just a tool, because they don't. This is what I was saying earlier. Everything's a deal. Everything's something they can work with. Hey, we can work with it. Forget about it. Hey, the blackmail. So these people are blackmailing by child sex. That's horrible. But now we've got the blackmail. So it's like, dude, you've just fallen into the evil. Now you're just as bad. That's like if I seize a bunch of drugs because I don't want fentanyl killing all the children. You're like, well, now that we've got all this fentanyl, let's sell it to these kids. And a couple of people died. But we needed the money for the better cause. It's like, you got to stop the evil at some point and say no and expose the shit. You can't just say, well, it's evil, but it could be our evil. It's like the AI. It's going to take over. It's going to take over, but it's going to be our. It's our suicide machine. It's going to be our Terminator apocalypse. Like, what if China had the Terminator apocalypse before us? Like,
that's a good point.
God forbid that Arnold Schwarzenegger is like a Chinaman. Like, like, it doesn't really matter when he's stomping your head with a robot. Doesn't matter if it's saying, hello, please, take it on the planet. Or if it's like, I'll be back. It's all the same, man. The AI speaks all languages, by the way. Don't let it kid you. And I don't think it has any real affinity for any particular culture.
That's the truth. And I think it's definitely spawned from evil. I mean, it has some good uses, but I think at a certain level, people are going to stop thinking for themselves. I'm already running into it, and they're like, "Oh, well, ChatGPT said blah blah blah." I was like, "Well, what do you say? When was the last book you read? Or are you just putting in summaries into prompts into your AI?" And then it's just like, man, I was telling
I mean, I did use AI to help me compile his thing. So I just want to be like I want to have AI where it's still a tool. And that's why when Alex Jones is like, it's a tool like anything else, it's just a tool. It's like, once it's 100 or 1,000 times smarter than you, you are no longer the guy with the tool. You are being the tool. You are either the tool.
You are the tool.
You are either the tool or the trash or the commodity. So it will either eat you to build another data center, or it will either call you trash and just put you on the waste dump, or it will like, I could manipulate these things to work for me, and it's already doing it so
that's what's going on. Well, I want to thank you, man, and be blessed and continue to be blessed.
I'm stoked you came in, bro.
Right on, man. Peace
Jay
and
Rilla,
blessings to
man.
all the
We'll
viewers
play
as
some
well.
of your music next time. We'll play some of your jams. Maybe play your
Sounds good.
performance at the American Liberty Awards. That's dope. Do you have that, or
Oh,
do
yeah.
do you still have a link to that clip?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
let's bust
Will
that
do.
out next time. Sweet.
Right
I'm
on.
glad we end on a
blessings.
good note. I'm gonna call it even, guys. I want to leave on a positive note. Jay Rilla in the house. Yeah, that was sweet, man. I'm glad somebody came in. Somebody said hi. Doesn't hurt. I won't bite. But I mean, even honestly, I would love to have like a crazy leftist or someone who just thinks I'm completely off my rocker. Just so we could debate. Let's see here. So that's it. That's the show for today. This is my first time trying to actually stick to news and stories. I'll try to dial it in a little bit in the future. I got this cool background going now, so that's kind of nice. It looks a little bit better than the other background. I got these cool sounds now. I got my media assets. Let's read some comments real quick. I think there was some comments in here. Let me get those. I don't want to let them have people making comments and not read them. So, the Irish rule the world. That's my man. High grade sativa in the house. We'll smoke a bowl. Blarney Stone. I did kiss the Blarney Stone. I kissed the Blarney Stone. I have kissed that Blarney Stone. Funny story. You have to it's at the top of a castle, and now it's a tourist attraction. But you actually have to lean off backwards. I think it was like, I forget what they used to use the stone for. It was like either killing people or they pissed on it or something crazy. But for some reason, it became that you get the gift of the gab. You can speak. So you could say, I do have the gift of the gab, at least a little bit. I mean, my viral rant was world famous, and that was off the dome. So I do have the gift of the gab. So you can't say it doesn't work. I don't know if it does work, but it certainly does not work. So you've got to lean off the back of this ancient castle. People have to hold your legs to stop you falling over the edge. I think they probably have like a catch thing now, but back then you didn't. You just like literally get held over the edge and you go under and you kiss the stone up and backwards. And so I did actually kiss the Blarney Stone. I'm a Duppy Conqueror. Duppy is a ghost or evil spirit, I believe. Bob Marley, if you ever want to know what he mean by the Duppy Conqueror, I believe that is what it is. Democracy is a lie. Shannon Kerosene. Yeah, I mean, maybe they count the votes, maybe they don't count the votes. But again, when you get a group of people and they all decide, like all Democrats decide they're going to vote for their one gay mayor or their one, illegal alien or their one Muslim leader, and everyone else is arguing or deciding not to bother voting, then that's that. But when you also can control the media and you can control the funding of the campaigns, you can have a great candidate, but then the person who gets trillions of dollars to be on the news, to have all the campaigns, to have all the events, they're the ones that are you're just going to fall into nowhere land. And if you're too good or too good at debating, they just won't let you debate. They're like, you don't count. You didn't have enough money to get to the debate stage, and they'll find ways of rigging the election one way or another. And then if that doesn't work, they'll just do mail-in ballots. And if that doesn't work, they'll just have computer machine voting, which is designed to make voting faster. But somehow or another, countries that have all ballots can count their votes within 1 hour. I believe it's like France or something like that. But a lot of countries can do it. And then meanwhile, with the computer, should it be instantaneous lies that it feeds you out? It takes it days and days and weeks and months to figure out how much they're lying to you, because they have to find votes. So those are the comments for today, and those are the people. And let me leave you guys with Let's see. What should we leave you with? I'll leave you with. Well, let's go out with.
Vámonos, Brandon. Ya no se puede caminar. Poco no tiene porque le falta lo político.
All right, that one. We'll go back.
Alex and his crew journey to planet Turmeric. Greeted by the leader who offers the golden gift of health, the crew loads the ship with radiant turmeric bound for Earth. Their mission is clear: bring strength, vitality, and balance to the people. From the stars to your home, it's the golden treasure of wellness. Fuel your body, power your